This is a Headgum podcast.
You know, Mitch, cold turkey may be great on your sandwich, but there's a better way to break your bad habits, and we're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor.
Sounds like I'm back down on the bayou.
Mitch, put yourself out of that mindset because we're not talking about that. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit?
Oh, wow, Wags. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors.
You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit.
And let me tell you something, Wise. You know what I like about that Fume? It looks beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah, beautiful crafted little real wood Fume. It looks nice. You look cool as hell.
Perfectly balanced, extremely fun to fidget with.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you.
Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use code Doughboys to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today.
That's tryfum.com and use code Doughboys to save an additional 10% off your order today. I'm not ashamed of my humble beginnings. Everyone has to start somewhere, and it wasn't as if I'd sold my soul to the devil, but it was a life of seedy hotels, smoky bars, and blatant and blameless sex. This was Stuart Anderson's colorful description of the Seattle hotel bar he opened as his post-World War II entrance into the world of hospitality, as written in his memoir, Here's the Beef, My Story of Beef. Anderson's nose for the booze biz allowed him to remodel and refurbish his dingy dive first into a more genteel French restaurant, and then ultimately in 1964, into the concept that would make him a one-man brand, a Western-themed chop shop later imitated by chains like Longhorn Steakhouse. Offering a steak dinner for the value price of $1.95 and leaning into his sleazy past with skimpy costumes for the female waitstaff, a detail long forgotten in today's family-friendly version, Anderson's eponymous steakery was a quick hit with Seattleites, and he established satellites by annexing and rebranding existing steakhouses. In 1972, the fast-growing franchise of 10 locations was acquired by Saga, and by the time of Marriott's acquisition of Saga in 1984, it had grown to 121 locations. But in the 90s, the new corporate ownership excised Anderson's name, Sean Parker style, and as the sit-down dining scene became more competitive, this former cash cow was slowly put out to pasture. Today, the franchise that Anderson called the #1 restaurant chain of the 1980s has filed for bankruptcy twice, shedding the bulk of its locations, down to just 32 rustic roadhouse grills. Anderson died in 2016 at the age of 93, his identity and influence long since smoked out of his smokehouse. So can this past its prime rib restaurant rally for a posthumous cattle drive back to relevance? This week on Doughboys, Black Angus.
It's the Doughboys!
Welcome to Doughboys, the podcast about chain restaurants. I'm Nick Weiger, along with my co-host, Michael Tangelo, the Spoon Man, Mike Mitchell.
Oh. Huh?
Howdy ho, Dough family. The recent episode with the wonderful Jason Mantzoukas, wherein Mitch was greedily gobbling down a Tangelo, inspired this roast.
I know that I ate the Tangelo.
Yeah.
But I'm like Michelangelo, I guess.
Tangelo.
Yeah.
Like Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtles, a party dude, you're a citrus dude.
Citrus power.
Or if it's like, I guess the Renaissance painter could be the other thing, / sculptor.
Yeah. We talked about him. Oh, we did talk about him recently. So that's maybe, we were discussing whether he had.
How he went to the bathroom while he was painting the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
Because like climbing down that scaffolding would be a whole to do. Yeah. He probably had a piss jar.
Can I, is it appropriate for me to
Of course,
jump in?
please.
Do you think there are Italian families or non-Italian families who have like sons named Michael and Angelo?
Like just split the name up between two of them?
Yeah.
Probably,
Michael, get in here. Angelo, get in here. Michael, Angelo.
I think it's a good move.
It saves time. It'd save you time. It'd save you a lot of
What
time.
time saving does that get you?
Also, Michelangelo's various works involving Madonna and the Christ Child gave off obvious parallels to Mitch and his mom. On the humble Tangelo, did you know there are only 3 original citrus fruits? The pomelo, the citron, and the mandarin, and the rest of them are just offshoots of the 3. That's interesting. That's from Maximilian
Interesting.
in Santa Fe Springs, roastspoonman@gmail.com.
I was looking at, Murder Brian? He
Yes,
posted,
yeah. Our buddy Murder Brian.
He posted something called Naked Lego today. I was looking at Reddit of like people who just have like Lego figures and then like their dicks out, basically.
Are they like sculpted or are they like painted on?
What do you like? Their dicks are out in the picture of their Legos? I don't know.
They have like the first one was like a lady with like her boobs were out and then like had a Baby Yoda Lego.
Uh-huh.
And her, are you looking it up, Nick?
No, I'm just like I'm curious.
I'll show you.
I'm just curious about.
I'm always looking for new things to masturbate to.
because
Well, then
the
I got
way you're
into, like-
describing it, is it molded plastic? Or like is something grafted onto it that's like 3D, or is it just like how Lego will sometimes have like a painted on underclothes?
Hold on, I'll just show you.
Yeah.
It's
People posing nude with Legos.
Yeah.
Oh, it's people nude with Legos.
It's basically people
I thought the
nude with
figures were
Legos.
nude.
So here's naked Lego. This is like the first one that was posted. It's like a lady with like a,
She's
but
got,
then like
just
every
like her
other,
tits
then
out,
there's
a Lego.
but then like every, it's just like guys.
That guy's a guy with a weird
It's
dick.
just like guys with dicks hanging out with.
That guy's got a hanger. That guy's looking pretty good.
Yeah, that guy, he for sure.
Do you think he chubby up a little?
Is it a joke or a fetish?
I can't tell honestly. This lady shows up a bunch. I scrolled through and this lady came up like 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got me to naked.
Get her on the pod?
I somehow got from there to naked before and after pictures, which were like all guys
Uh-huh.
that were like before and then after, and their dick was just out the whole time.
Like workout things.
Yeah,
Like they lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, not even that much weight, honestly.
Just got ripped.
They kind of got like a little more ripped. This is embarrassing. Howdy ho to Spoon Nation. It's embarrassing. Maybe the most embarrassing one to do.
Wow.
Well, we got a good guest today, Wags. That's the we don't usually have good guests on the show.
Is that
Unfortunately
the case?
true, yeah.
I'd say up till now, honestly.
That's very hurtful towards a lot of people I know.
I know. No, we've had great guests, but we have an especially great guest today.
That's right.
Emma, hit him with the drop. Let's get all this embarrassing stuff over with.
Love is what I got.
I got G Fuel in my shoe.
Love is what I got.
I got chocolate on my trousers.
Love is what I got.
I got cream on my mic cord over here.
Love is what I got.
I got wing sauce on my face.
Is this good?
Oh, yeah. People love Sublime.
Bring back Weiger's Neato Fact of the Week. Chris Finke, who's good.
What's up,
He is
Finke?
very good. Finke's
Yeah.
very good at making music.
Yeah.
Thank you, Finke.
Thank you, Finky.
But no, October is over.
Yeah, we're done with that. The Neato fact of the week, I think, is in the past, is in the rear view.
Well, I meant I was saying October.
Yeah, it's been over for 2 weeks at this point. We had another episode come out. Have you forgotten already?
That's okay. It's fine.
October continues to be over here in
The harvest-
mid-November.
The harvest is ended.
The harvest is ended.
The Phillies have won the World Series.
The Phillies have won the World Series. The harvest is ended. Now the fruits of our labor, we get to we benefit off the fruits of our labor.
That's right. Hang up your scythes, turn your plowshares back into swords, and hunker down for winter.
And
'Cause here we
celebrate
are.
those Phillies.
Celebrate those Phillies.
fantastic
Celebrate our
Phillies.
guest, Tim Heidecker is here. Hi, Tim. Thanks so much for being
You're
here.
welcome. I feel like you and I are the guest on your show.
Yeah.
Does it feel that way?
Just the configuration.
The
of chairs.
orientation. We kind of like to sandwich our guests. That's how we've always done it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
Okay.
Weiger, if I do a
we
good
can
job
move.
during
Like
the
we're a
episode.
comedy duo and we're
Yeah.
on your show.
It would be I don't know what we'd be called, but meatball and
The dude.
meatball and the dude. It does feel like if I do a good job, you'll invite me over to the couch at the end of the episode, Wags.
It hasn't happened yet. Might
Yeah.
happen sometime.
Doesn't
Tim,
that seem a little?
But you're in a bigger. It's interesting because you're in a 2-seater couch.
we've talked. First off, the seats are
It
gonna.
might look totally different as people are watching.
No, I
I'm
think
just
it looks
telling you
kinda
how
weird.
I feel.
Yeah.
We are the first thing that's going to happen is that all these chairs are being replaced. This is a thing
That
that's
is
recently.
true.
Recently, they had us try out new chairs recently. So I
I'll
think
be
the
honest
couch
with
is
you,
coming out of here.
I didn't like the new chairs.
You didn't like the new
and
chairs.
I said it, and they were like,
We have a second option for you.
"Really?"
You
Get
had something else to
excited.
try.
Okay, I didn't like the new chairs.
But the other thing is we've talked about like changing the orientation, but you're also comfortable over there.
I'm comfortable. I like kind of being a little further away from him, I guess.
Yeah, but we'd be equally
Well,
far over here.
I'm gonna have to send you my chiropractor bill. I'm doing this. Bing, bang, bing.
Don't you think it was a little? Don't you think it was a little judgmental when Johnny would invite people over to the couch? Doesn't that feel like a little?
Oh
like,
yes, very.
It feels It feels like a.
You're waiting for the
Right.
seal of approval.
Yeah,
yeah, if you didn't get the invite.
I love watching those old Tonight shows, though.
They're
I
so
watched-
fun.
they're great.
They're on that Pluto.
Pluto, yeah.
Yeah.
We love Pluto. Pluto's great.
It's so boring. I love how boring. I love how much
Yeah.
John Levinstein. You know John Levinstein?
Yeah.
He had a tweet of a year. So what date was that? It was. It doesn't matter when he had. But he had a clip from Columbo.
Yeah.
From the 70s, and it was him dialing a rotary phone. And he was like, TV used to have all the time in the world. And that's how like old Carson feels. Like there's no one's in any rush.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'll
100%.
just sometimes have a conversation and not try to be funny at all, which
Yeah.
I love, which is great.
What we're gonna
Kind
do?
of like our show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean that's kind of like podcasts have now have taken over that kind of energy, which I love.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a quantity, not quality thing, right? It's like people love it when we have a long episode, even if it's not like a good episode. They're just happy that it's like 2.5 hours instead of a
Yeah.
normal 90 minutes.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
It is depressing.
We've never invited anyone over to the couch. Koala got close.
That'd be funny to go like, give me the nod. I come over there.
I'll come over if I can sit on your lap. Wallach. Tim, I'm curious, what are some of your favorite like chain restaurants? Fast food chains, sit-down chains?
I'm a traditionalist.
Okay.
I don't hold my nose up to a McDonald's. I think frankly, a McDonald's is as good as fast food can get.
Wow.
I take that back. Take that back immediately.
Okay.
But at that, I mean, fast food is obviously you guys cover a wide range of
And you know what? I think we were on board. I think we agreed with you.
I think they're good at really dialing in the flavors and the taste, and that like the food is generally fairly fresh tasting,
Right.
even though it might not be fresh at all. Like I would, if I was going down the street and I see a Wendy's, a Subway, a Burger King, a McDonald's, I would probably choose McDonald's out of there.
Which one would be last of all those?
Good question.
Subway?
Burger King. I don't mind if I'm going to go to Subway, which I occasionally do.
Mhm.
I'd get a simple tuna, 6-inch tuna.
The tuna is
bag of
decent there.
chips.
Yeah.
I'd load it up with veggies and banana peppers and olives, and I don't mind Subway. I don't mind. I like it all. I mean, I would say if we're burgers lately, we would go to Shake Shack.
Oh,
'cause
sure.
We're in Glendale,
yeah.
and I think Shake Shack is very good.
We were saying the other day that it kind of people pushed back against Shake Shack a little bit, but it still is. We had Shack's Big Chicken last week,
Yes.
and then compared
Truly
to
wretched.
Shack's Big Chicken, we all were wishing that we had Shake Shack. It's much better.
SHAQ. Shack's
Oh,
Big
it's
Chicken. Yeah,
Shack's.
Shaquille O'Neal's
Oh,
chain. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
And that's right next door to.
It's right
That's
next
right
door.
to
Glendale.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
very
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I generally don't love chicken as a fast food
Right.
item. I don't love Kentucky Fried Chicken or chicken. I'm not a big chicken sandwich guy.
Not even a Popeyes?
Popeyes is okay, but the
Okay.
last time I had Popeyes, it gave me like a really bad headache.
Oh, wow.
Really felt weird. And I don't. I mean, I've had McDonald's sometimes where I feel like I feel like I have a flu later in the day, like something like the chills, and I have to lie
Yeah.
down.
That's-
So I think there is definitely like a bodily reaction to that food sometimes, but
That's kind of our constant state now.
yeah, just I'm not a big. I'm turned off of In-N-Out lately. I think.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I think the In-N-Out is good, but it's if I'm going to go somewhere and eat that kind of food, I want every level of it to be right on the money. And of course, their fries are so bad.
Yeah.
and that's kind of a tropey thing to say.
No, but
it's
I mean,
true.
I like their
Yeah.
fries. I'm not going to argue with it though, because like
do?
I grew
Okay.
up with them, so
Okay.
it's like
You love-
I have nostalgia
that's,
for them.
That's probably your favorite.
I understand that.
of
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
If I'm going to go to Burger King, I would say that's an example of a chicken sandwich I do like, which is their
The
sort of
long-
American
The long
chicken
boy.
sandwich. Yeah, the
Mhm,
long boy.
mhm,
Hell yeah.
mhm.
And their onion rings are pretty good.
The onion rings
Yeah,
are pretty
they're not
good.
bad.
And now they do actually a mix of onion ring and fries. That's their new thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can do both.
They tried the Chiking, which was their take
Yeah.
on the Popeyes / Chick-fil-A
Uh-huh.
chicken sandwich.
So
and
many of those have just kind of died
I don't
out,
need
though.
it. I don't need that. I don't need their simulacrum of that. I'm fine with a long boy. Their long boy is good.
The long boys. I had that long boy I was traveling, doing a tour over in Europe,
Wow.
and there was I always think that Burger. I have a joke about Burger King, like should just kind of wrap it up, and be like, we're gonna wind things down, right? There's too much going on out
Yeah.
there. Like we don't need to be a company anymore. We're gonna sell everything, liquidate, because everyone else is doing such a great job. We're gonna get out. Thank you for all your who cares?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you go overseas, Burger King's killing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're they're everywhere. I think it was in Amsterdam or it was in Sweden, somewhere where I got the long boy at the airport.
hmm
It was fantastic.
Yeah, we've kind of been on a roller coaster with Burger King, and
We
lately
say they're back.
we've been saying
We're saying
BK
that
is
BK is
back.
back
I
a
feel like
little
mid quarantine to late quarantine, they kind of started to get their shit together and have a little bit more
I
consistency.
tell you that Mike has got a bag in his long boy chicken sandwich.
A bag?
He fit into it, and there was a blue bag inside,
Like a
Inside-
hospital bag?
like a blue little. I think it was like a part of I think when they were like shredding, like in
Oh.
Part
the
of the
factory, like a
packaging.
part of the packaging
Mm.
went into the actual chicken cutlet part of the sandwich.
When you first said this, and I know this is impossible, but like instantly I thought like you meant a smaller Burger King bag inside the chicken sandwich.
No,
like some
that
sort of
would
Russian
be
doll
funny.
scenario.
Yeah, but no, it was a little blue bag
That's-
within the
That's
chicken.
terrifying. That's
Yeah.
disgusting because that feels like medical waste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
but we still think it's back, kind of.
It's
when I
still
was
back.
a kid, it felt like Burger King was slightly more. It was a little classier, right?
That's what
Sure.
I
Slightly
yeah,
a little classier
yeah.
than McDonald's.
Yeah, my dad would be like, I mean, this was wrong, but he'd be like, let's take you to Burger King. It's healthier, or like
Yeah.
it's like flame grilled Whopper.
They had the nice
Uh-huh.
metal ashtrays in the smoking shed.
And it did like you could get like the apple pie. It did seem like it was like more
Well, it's
Wendy's
flame
has-
broiled.
yeah, it feels like home style. It feels like it's a little bit more
It's all it's
There's
homemade,
care,
fresh ingredients. But now it feels like it's truck stop territory.
Yeah.
a little bit. But
so you would do that over sub that you would do that last. Subway would be before it, basically.
Yeah.
What if Jared was if you drove by you saw Jared in Subway?
I would definitely stop to take a picture.
Yeah, that's
I
a
go
good point.
McDonald's,
That's a good
Subway,
point.
Burger King, Wendy's.
Wow.
I'm not a big. I don't.
Wendy's has gotten real. I love Wendy's, but Wendy's has gotten really inconsistent. I feel like all my experiences in recent memory are hit and miss.
Wendy's is they changed their fries, which we talked
Yeah.
about.
Is this
which
what you do on every episode? Like, how could this possibly be? How could you have not gone through this exact? Like, have we actually? Is this the? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Is
short
that-
answer,
could somebody
yes.
match up an episode that,
Yeah.
that lines like you could sync it up and it sort of like sounds you could put it in the left and right speaker?
The audio
curious.
files are probably very similar.
Well, wait, but I love it, so I'm happy to talk about it. But I'm worried people are going to be furious.
Well,
but-
everyone
Not
has
at all.
different views on it.
Sure.
That is,
That's the
and
thing.
also you and we want to hear your hometown, your old what you used to eat.
Yeah.
That's,
no, but I was going to say something else. I can't remember. Burger
Wendy's.
King, Wendy's. No. The square. Yeah. Well, I think the thing that's interesting. The ideal McDonald's. The ideal like vision of McDonald's is that you are getting the exact same experience wherever you go.
Right.
But that is not the case.
Mhm.
You're gonna. But it's because you
Yeah.
brought up inconsistency. They probably have less inconsistency, but I've
That's the thing, yeah.
definitely had better McDonald's experiences.
Oh, for sure.
And worse, like
100%.
better salt levels on the fries. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, are they salting their fries?
Yes, the hot, fresh fries, I think, is a big part of your McDonald's experience. There was one across from UCB Sunset, which is now closed, which we've done on the we didn't do on the show, but we went there we did a McDonald's month. We almost did McDonald's for this. We've never reviewed McDonald's officially.
That's right.
But that's going to be the last episode, which you're welcome to come back on.
I mean,
if this, I mean,
I will
this doesn't
have
suck.
to repeat myself quite a bit. Since I don't know how many more takes I have on McDonald's. I probably can stretch something out, but
There's good McDonald's. In Quincy we have a good McDonald's and one that's not as good, and then in LA it's the same thing. The one across from Jay's Bar I like quite a bit.
Yeah, so that one you just mentioned, which is now shuttered, and
Yeah.
I went by and I was like kind of sad that it's like closed, and I think it's maybe bulldozed at this point. I don't know what they're building there, probably fucking condos, but it's like it wasn't a great McDonald's, but it was like locationally it was so clutch to have it there because there were just times you needed that was like the best option in the area.
We went in there and it was crazy constantly.
It was oftentimes crazy. The bathroom was apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Like I had to use that bathroom a number of times, and that was always a nightmare.
Me too, yeah.
But the McDonald's itself was, hit and miss, but when it was hitting, it was great to have
if
it.
I could talk quickly about
Please.
because I saw you a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
We were talking McDonald's. Believe it or not, we were having a very similar conversation just out in the wild, but not for any podcast. We're like at a bar, at a friend's party. And you were telling me what you order at McDonald's, and you had mentioned this spicy chicken sandwich. So that was in my head like a few days later, and I stopped in and got that sandwich. And I have to tell you, I was very disappointed in it.
Wow.
I get that. It's because it's the spicy McChicken. It's not.
No.
It's not the McChicken is just a ton of mayo and lettuce.
Right.
And that is to me that's like the extra sandwich I get because I get a Big Mac meal and then I get the extra. You do two sandwiches,
Yeah, I'll get
right?
a side sandwich sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
My preferred order at McDonald's would be a Big Mac or a fish fillet, which I love. I really like a fish fillet.
Yeah,
The fish delight.
Fish delight.
Is that what it's
That's what
now
Trump
called?
calls it.
Oh,
that's what we go by.
What's your favorite McDonald's item? The fish delight.
Does he eat that? Does he eat the fish
Apparently,
fillet?
yeah.
And then the McNuggets are terrific. They're fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's all I would. I don't do anything else there.
Not a quarter pounder, not a double
quarter
cheeseburger.
pounder. No, not
Got
a
it.
double cheeseburger.
We've talked about this plenty of times, which say what you want about Trump. We both support him. But we said this on the podcast is when people when he bought McDonald's for the college kids and people try to be like, ugh, and we were like, that is great.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
that's the great move. It was
No,
Sure.
those are just like liberals who do not understand his appeal, which is that he is like a working class person's idea of a rich person. Is like
Right.
if I was a fucking billionaire, a multimillionaire, I would just buy McDonald's all the time, and I'd buy McDonald's for everyone. I'd
had
have
a
my own plane
birthday-
and eat KFC on it.
I went to a birthday party for a friend of mine who it was a small gathering, but she was like, what I want for my birthday is McDonald's and Taco Bell.
Wow.
And like get it catered, whatever, just pick up a whole mess of the stuff. And everybody was like so happy to just, and believe me, I eat this stuff maybe like once a month, which some people might think is a lot. But I don't think it's a good thing to eat this food as much as a lot of people eat it. I don't try, but I know. I'm just saying, people listening, and it's true. I don't, but I don't stick my nose up to it either because I don't think it's as bad as people say. And there's all sorts of ethical problems with these companies, but there's ethical problems with every company.
Fucking fine dining restaurants always have ethical concerns.
Sure.
It's just like there's always, people are underpaid and overworked.
not at Doughboys, but also here's a term that you'll hate. Because I would almost consider you I hate saying it, but like a foodie. You love. I won't say where I've seen you at like maybe we can just bleep this, but I saw you at Viet Noodle Bar back when it was like first started.
Yeah,
and
I'm absolutely not a foodie though.
I've always seen you at good, and then we talked
Where?
about a good restaurant the other day.
Where?
that I messaged you about the Lebanese.
Oh yes, I can. Yeah, that's scaffs.
Yeah.
And of course, I think my thing is I like good food. There's a few like Viet Noodle Bar in Atwater Village is somewhere I've been going I used to live around there. I've been going there for 15 years. I know the people there. It's consistent. I know what I'm getting.
Sure.
Same with scaffs. I've been going there for 10 years. It's really good Lebanese food. So I like good food, but I don't seek it out. I don't like to think about where I'm going to go eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you on my show, my priorities are for food, for going out to dinner is parking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seating situation. Like I don't want to wait in a line. Like if I see somebody waiting in a line, I'll go somewhere else.
Was
I
it-
won't give a shit.
This was the episode Office Hours that Mitch guested on, which I watched, which was very, very funny.
Yes.
But your food was like fourth in your hierarchy.
Yeah.
Food was
Food's going to be good or bad. I mean,
Yeah.
food's going to be fine. I'll know what to order if it doesn't look great. If it's not great, who cares? I don't want to get sick from the food.
Right.
But I have a hard time like having my mind blown by food anymore.
Sure.
I have in my life eaten at very great restaurants. You know, my partner in a lot of the comedy I do, Eric, it really knows about food and he cares about it and loves it. And I don't judge him for that.
Yeah.
I don't judge people that are into it. It's just for me, the difference. Like I've been to that place, Alenia in Chicago, with the foam and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like I was being nice about it, but I'm like, this is it's very good, very good.
Right.
This tastes good too. You know, I would be happy to have I would have the same experience with peanut M&Ms from my hotel minibar because those taste really good too.
Yeah, those are good.
Those taste great.
Is that your favorite M&M varietal?
Absolutely. I'm going through kind of an addiction problem with them.
On the
Really?
show, you had them on the show.
Yeah, I have to start not buying them, and because I could sit it. I feel like they're not having any effect on me, but they obviously are. They're not. It's not. I'm not eating air.
Right.
I didn't like them as a kid. When I was a child, I didn't like peanut M&Ms, and then as I got older, they're now my favorite.
What did you like? You like plain M&Ms?
I liked plain M&Ms.
Wow,
I
that's
know.
wild.
But as a little kid,
Yeah, as a kid, of course.
My dad loved peanut M&Ms. I did not. I was not a fan.
I'm trying to remember if it took me some time to get on board with peanut M&Ms as well. I mean, they're clearly, I think, the best one, but I do like the pretzel M&Ms. I do like the
I like peanut
butter
M&Ms.
M&Ms.
Peanut butter M&Ms.
And then what's there's like I can't remember the
cotton
name.
candy M&Ms I don't like.
I can't remember the ones that have like a rice crunch to them.
Oh, right.
Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they're called crispy
they're
M&Ms.
rice, they are crispy.
They're kind of
Yeah.
based on a Nestle Crunch kind of.
Yeah, those are fun.
experience.
Those are pretty good. Also, did M&Ms? We talked about how M&Ms are just bad unless you mix it into ice cream or whatever. But it also got M&Ms are worse than they used to be, right? Don't they taste?
I think the
worse?
quality's a little bit declined.
Really?
I think so.
maybe,
a
yeah.
little bit.
Hmm.
Maybe they're cutting some
I don't know.
corners.
I mean,
It's a hard thing to test.
I think Mars chocolate has gotten worse.
Oh, I
I
see.
think it tastes more.
That's what it was. With our
Like
buddy
barf.
Mono, we tasted a bunch of Halloween candy for our Halloween
Yeah.
episode, and we were kind of like, has this gotten a little bit
Oh.
worse?
So I'm just saying something that just happened to us like 3 weeks ago.
Can we rehash another take that you had on the podcast, which I thought was interesting, which
Oh, boy.
is
Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble for this.
no, you had you were talking just generally about high floor, low ceiling foods.
That's
Yeah.
a good way to put it.
And
yeah.
one you landed on was chicken tenders or tendies, which I think are like, that's a great call because like for me, it's like, what is the best tender?
Yeah.
What, like how much better is it than like a fucking frozen tender you get from Costco?
You did get in
Right.
trouble. I
Well, I
got
got-
texts from people that were
about the pizza.
about the pizza. They were mad about it.
right.
Which, I mean, don't get mad about it.
No, no. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not mad about
I hope
it.
those people aren't actually
Yeah.
mad. Could they be mad? Are they
Well,
actually mad?
Some of our listeners probably are mad, but they get mad about.
But you got
every-
texts from people we both know?
I got texts from friends that had watched that were
Okay.
like, that's crazy. There's good. They're like
Yeah.
Well, we're of that saying. We say this all the time, but like, there's like pizza and sex, even when it's bad, it's good. And both of us are like, that's not true.
Yeah, that's
when
in
it
our
is
head.
Bad, pizza can be horrible.
That's partly in our head from Charna Halpern's book Truth in Comedy, which is kind of an improv foundational text, which says that pizza is like sex is like the Herald. Even when it's bad, it's good. I was like, well, even a good Herald
agree
is like
with the Herald.
embarrassing. Yeah.
The Harold part we agree with.
Yeah. I'm on board
Charna
with that.
Halpern is our favorite comedian too, by the way. But
I think it's more on the high side where it's like the best pizza I don't think is never the most like it never blows my mind. And maybe that's more where I'm at, where it's just like, yeah, that the best, you're not going to believe this pizza. So if somebody said like, this pizza is so fucking great, I would have a bite and I'd be like, yeah, it's pizza. It's as good as pizza's going to be. And I love pizza.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for good pizza, but it's on, like, it's not my favorite. I mean, it's not my favorite food.
Right.
But it works in the middle nicely. Like a pepperoni pizza from Domino's, I think is not that far away from like what you would consider like mind-blowing pizza.
I think I agreed with you on the show, but
you're worried about the blowback that's coming.
Well, now I'm on my home court, and I'm slightly I have a little more confidence.
Yeah, because you folded on that. You're like, yeah, I guess so. Whatever you say, boss. I get it. I don't like to be that. I'm not crazy about being confrontational.
Yeah.
On somebody else's.
I love Domino's pizza, but I also, when it is the best pizza, I will agree with you that as far as food is the number one for me, it's not the fourth, but parking is number two. And then lines, if there's lines, that's like a no, I don't even want to wait.
These are both huge bullet points in favor of this week's chain. I mean, great parking.
Yeah.
Great parking.
No wait.
Well, I like Tom Sharpling said something to me. He's been on the show, right?
Yes. Yeah.
He said something really funny to me privately. I think it's fair to say, but we were joking about the line to get into the In-N-Out drive-through. Have you ever been in the trying to get it blocks my one road that I try to get like at all times a day. And he was like, "Can you imagine your dad as a kid like waiting in a drive-through line to go get cheeseburgers? No way would my parents ever get their car in a position to sit there for more than 2 minutes in a drive-through. Like, no, we're going to the grocery store and buying frozen patties and putting them in a frying pan and making cheeseburgers. So like that whole world of like waiting for but sorry.
No, that's a great. That is a good point. Which they do. I'll give you credit because you said this before. I always call out the line. Yeah, they do move that line pretty quickly.
It moves pretty fast.
They do. But
but it looks. It
always looks daunting, and
it
is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it, and it's like it is a good 20 minutes sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's too long. But
yeah, Raising Cane's is similar. I feel like is the newfangled one that where all the they all have these lines that are snaking out into the road.
Yeah, when the cones are in the street, that is annoying.
And that one can take a while.
I've waited over an hour at this Del Taco before. I wonder what the longest time I've waited at that Del Taco.
Wait, really?
For Del Taco?
Yeah, 100%.
Over an hour?
Yeah.
For Del Taco.
I mean, it was like 2 a.m.
That's a big but that's like you're in Major League sunk cost fallacy territory where you're like, how long were you waiting when you were like, if I should just leave?
You can get the same shit at 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
more or less.
I mean, well,
if you're specifically craving Del Taco, I do understand.
I get that, and I'm not anti Del Taco. I like the hard shell ground beef tacos with the fries, the
particular
fries.
Del Taco. Yeah,
it's a very satisfying experience, especially at 2 a.m. I get that.
There's two things. Is like once I waited like 30 minutes, I was like, I'm close, but then also you get sandwiched in.
Sure.
So it's hard to even leave at that point. Once you're there, but I've definitely. I think the last time I went there was like an hour and 15. I told you about my last chaotic experience.
Yeah,
there.
That was crazy.
Yeah, a lady was just like,
"Oh, I don't need to know." I believe you. It was insane.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more Doughboys. The holidays are right around the corner, and while it's great to get gifts for the people you love, it's also a time to give back to the less fortunate. And I'm not just talking about people in need, but cats too.
Aw, Wags. I rescued my cats, Wally and Irma, so I'm a big advocate for people rescuing kitties in need. Our next sponsor is a brand that Wally, Irma, and I love, mainly for their food, but also because they donate to the Humane Society.
This podcast is sponsored by Smalls. If you're a listener of this show, you know that Mitch and his cats love Smalls. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door.
That's right, Wags. And Smalls recently kicked off a partnership with the Humane Society. They've donated over $1 million worth of food to help cats through the Humane Society, and they even give you a chance to donate at checkout, whether you donate $3 for treats, $5 for vaccines, or $7 for spaying or neutering.
Mitch, do you remember how stinky and smelly your old cat food was? You used to leave the house smelling like cat food.
I was like the Pied Piper. Cats would be following me around because I stunk.
Well, now you can finally open a packet of cat food and not get nauseous.
Yeah, I can open one up and not say P.U.
That's right. You can actually recognize the ingredients in a packet of Smalls food.
That's right.
The difference that Smalls makes is real. After making the switch to Smalls, 78% of cat owners reported their cats had shinier and softer fur, and 90% reported overall health improvements. That's a big deal.
And with Smalls, you can adjust or cancel anytime, easily skip shipments, switch up recipes, and add on goodies based on cats' needs and preferences.
Is your cat food giving back to cats in need? Smalls is. So if you want to give Smalls a try and ditch kibble forever, head to smalls.com/doughboys and use promo code doughboys at checkout for 50% off your first order, plus free shipping.
That's the best offer you'll find, but you have to use our code Doughboys for 50% off your first order. One last time, that's promo code Doughboys for 50% off your first order, plus free shipping. Do it and help out some kitties.
Welcome back to Doughboys, here with Tim Heidecker, discussing this week's chain, Black Angus, which I remember, Mitch, I don't know if you ever encountered this, but I grew up out here. It used to be Stuart Anderson's Black Angus.
Really?
And then Stuart Anderson, who founded the chain in Seattle in 1960, he sold the chain to this company called Saga, and then Saga was acquired by Marriott.
Saga?
Not Sega, not the Sonic the Hedgehog company. Saga, like a saga, like an Odyssey.
With Maga.
SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah. Sold to the Actors Union. They sold it to Marriott, and then Marriott was like, we're going to fucking Sean Parker, the name Stuart Anderson, out of here, and now it's just Black Angus. So that's been their branding since like the 90s.
Who the hell is Stuart Anderson then?
He was an interesting, I talk about him in my intro, which people who've watched this or listening to this have heard at this point, but he's like an eccentric like Seattle guy. He used to own like a fucking like dive bar that was frequented by lowlifes, and then he took the money from that and converted it eventually into a Western-themed steakhouse. But his autobiography, here's the name of his memoir, which I really like. Here's the Beef, My Story of Beef. It's a great title.
Yeah, it's great.
So they had over 100 restaurants. The parent company went bankrupt twice. Now is just 32 locations in 5 Western states. It feels like it's slowly dying off. On the way out.
We were looking at locations, and there is one. Was it Washington? It was Washington State.
Washington
right?
State. Yeah, it's Arizona, California, Hawaii, New Mexico, and Washington State. Those are the, and it started in Washington State. So, but
it feels on its way out.
It feels like it's on its way out. Even though this one was, I feel like, fairly bustling for a Thursday night.
I thought there was a lot. Yeah. It's got that prime spot right off the 5.
Yeah,
that's right.
And parking galore.
Wonderful lot.
Right there. Like no. You know, a lot of times in LA, you go into parking lots that have several levels, so you end up going up and looking for a spot and everything. This is like you're in the Midwest, or you're like in the suburbs. You just pull in, and there's spots.
It's great.
Yeah.
The huge.
That might have been the best thing about it.
Well, I know this from the other Black Anguses I've been to, and we've been to the Torrance one a number of times. I went to the Lakewood one a bunch growing up in my hometown, and they all have huge surface lots with ample parking.
It's right near my dentist, this Black Angus. I didn't tell you guys that last night.
No, it was kept from us.
Dr. Toonsey is right up the street.
Wow.
I was wondering what the relative proximity of your dentist was to where we were eating, and I would have loved to have known.
But I'll tell you this, parking at Toonsey's is not great. And parking at Islands right around the way.
Oh yeah,
also not.
That's
good.
a pain in the ass. There's the BJ's that's right next to it, which has a decent lot. But yeah, the Islands is not far, and then Islands you have to park in a structure.
It's off on its own little land there. I like it.
Yeah.
I just want to say the reason can I say why we chose
100%.
PA? I was given a list. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's public knowledge.
Oh, of course, yeah.
To choose, and there's a lot of good options, but the tour before the last tour that Eric and I did, we had a Black Angus joke in our set that was very. I'll just tell. I don't remember what the setup was, but it was Black Anus that we then dropped the G to bring in the Black Angus to it. So if you look at the word, you take the G out, it becomes anus. And so every time we would drive by on the 5, you'd drive by Black Angus. The first thing I see is anus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black anus.
So naturally, you were like, I want to eat there.
Yeah, exactly. I want to eat that ass.
We went to the Burbank location, as I mentioned. Yeah, it has this rustic Western decor for people who've never been there that extends to the exterior.
Tall
It kind of feels
booths.
like a
Very, also very like a distressed look.
very much
Yeah.
so,
Like
very much
distressed
so.
wood.
Yeah,
Which I wondered
Aged.
if it was intentional or
No,
if
it was very intentional.
Yeah.
But dirty, like kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Like another, did you go to the bathroom?
I did not. No, I should have.
I did,
He
yeah.
It was a little grungy. in
Yeah,
there.
a little-
It wasn't like disgusting, but it was.
a little frozen in time, perhaps.
Yeah.
Hasn't been updated in a
This-
while.
This is kind of big tall booth. I was like, oh, there's big tall booths, but then our table is a little crowded, and then you think you're gonna get nice big menus, and then they're like paper menus. that
They used to
give
be
you.
bigger menus. They used to be like a nice restaurant menu that had some heft
That
to
looks
it.
big. I like
Yeah.
that.
They used to be like that, but
That looks
they've
nice.
downsized them a little bit. Yeah.
I'm
kind of holding up like the 10 Commandments here. Yeah, they used to be big boys, and they've scrunched them up.
This wasn't just to give you a picture. I don't think this was accurate, but on the Google, not the Yelp, but in the Google reviews, the one I saw as I was plotting my route, it said it's a cross between a fine dining experience and a coffee shop, which I didn't really get that. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But it's a funny thing to think about, and it was like seen as a positive. It was like, but it did have it had a bar with big TVs where people were watching the game and stuff.
Yeah.
There was that side, and then there was sort of the dining room area.
It's a little bit more. I mean, it's like
There's a
a
lot of
steakhouse,
writers.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more casual. Like you could go in in a t-shirt and shorts, and you wouldn't feel out of place. In fact, that's
Sure.
like a lot of people eating there, including
Yeah.
you, were like that.
Oh, I think that I think you could dress the worst you could and
Yeah.
feel fine there. I don't. I
Mhm.
feel like there's no. I don't know what level this always was. It seemed like maybe it was a.
It used to feel. Going off of memory here, and most of my visits were as a kid. But it was like I remember it feeling a little bit nicer. That might have just been a kid brain perceiving like a grown-up restaurant in this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the big booths, which was what I told Natalie we were going to Black Angus, and the first thing she said was enjoy the big booths. And then I got back and she was like, how are the big booths? And here's the thing, Mitch, and I think you're spot on in this. They are big in the way that like an NBA center is big. They are tall, but they are also like, pretty compact. They're like
Yes.
kind of lean. And like,
Yeah.
I felt pretty scrunched up in there. I felt
I
pretty
wanted shack
uncomfortable.
booths more so. I wanted like a big shack,
Like a big,
booth.
yes, right. Like
Yeah.
a big baby Davis, like a guy who's like got a little bit girth
It was
to him.
more like
It was
a new
it was like
bowl.
a specific 3-seater booth. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you'd get more than 3 in that booth.
It'd be tough.
Yeah, no, and they were very tall. I was trying to find you guys for I was not
Oh
for
yeah,
that long. I was
everyone-
late.
It's you can be very private in the booth. You can get a lot done privately.
It was hard to see over some of the. It was hard to see over some of the booths. I thought.
Yeah. But I kind of like that. I like that it feels a little bit private, but I wish it had a little bit more space.
Yeah.
Again, this is probably a thing that it was probably built in the 70s when everyone was a lot skinnier.
I don't know. I think I agree. It's interesting. You're right. It would have been nicer to feel the rest of the restaurant, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. The proximity to Toonsies is a plus for me.
Where's Toonsies? I missed that.
It's my Dr. Toons, my dentist.
Oh, that's his name.
yeah, Dr. Toonsy. Yeah,
Is he a
great.
tune?
No,
Is he an actual cartoon?
It's
like
not.
the Roger
It's
Rabbit
not a Roger
character?
Rabbit scenario. He's not.
Is he afraid of dip?
He's not. He's not pulling out like a big drill, and it's. He's a very normal.
He's an actual wolf.
He's a very nice man, and very close to this Black Angus, right up the street. I had driven by. I've noticed that place forever.
Yeah.
Especially just going to the movie theater there, the
Yeah,
AMC.
AMC 16 is great.
Had you ever eaten there?
I never.
This
eaten
was your
there.
first visit as well.
That's
Okay,
right.
got it.
You have back.
I've
in
been
the
there a
day.
bunch of times.
when it
yeah.
was Peter. What's his name? Peter
Stuart Anderson's
Stuart
Black
Anderson.
Angus. Yeah.
Sort of like, I think there was a restaurant chain called Ponderosa, maybe?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Does that ring a bell to
Yeah,
anybody?
I think that's also a steakhouse.
Ponderosa
Yeah,
Steakhouse, yeah.
Yeah. I've never
So it's
been.
definitely up from like Sizzler.
Yeah, it's a step up from Sizzler. They got table service.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Omarosa.
Oh yeah, she was worked in the White House,
She worked.
White House advisor, senior White House official, right? Omarosa.
Omarosa. We were wondering what happened to her. What has she been up
She
to?
got burned. She got like
She got burned
scorned
by
yeah,
Trump.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Mm.
Well, I think
missed
she
that.
got fired. I don't remember the story. She was one of his many geniuses that he put in and that didn't work out, I guess.
Which is funny because she was on The Apprentice and she did get fired on it. She did
Right.
get double
Ah.
fired by Trump. That's going to be wild. Anyways, I hope she's well. I had never been in there before, and I had like heard of Black Angus. I don't even know why, because there wasn't one in Massachusetts.
Well, it has been referenced in pop culture a bunch. This like The Simpsons had a Black Angus joke.
Really?
That, like I remember like resonating with me as a kid because he was like, I think the joke is, oh, it's the they think the rapture is going to happen.
Drop the G.
It's drop the G.
Did we steal it?
Season 1, Simpsons. They were a little looser.
It was no, it's they think the rapture is going to happen. I can't remember what if this is the comet episode or what, but it's like they think the world is going to end, and so they're all dressed up like nice. And Bart says like, "Why are we dressed up nice, Mom? Are we going to Black Angus?"
Oh,
and Marge goes, "I guess you could say we're going to the best steak house in the universe." And Bart says, "So we're not going to Black Angus."
Yeah, that's
good.
funny. That's
So I think it's kind of like been, in the national zeitgeist a little bit more.
that speaks more to the Simpsons writers living in Burbank than
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're specifically talking about that Black Angus. It's funny.
Yeah, honestly.
And that's a joke about Black Angus being bad, 30 years ago almost, basically?
Yeah, it would have been the 90s.
Yeah.
So our server was Jesse, who I will say, great service, heart and hustle. I really enjoyed Jesse's table service. He said it was his first day back. He kept reminding us of that, which was, and this ties into a
back
thing.
from where? I was confused.
That is a
by
great
that,
question.
honestly.
Me too.
Yeah.
I
First
didn't
day
know.
back.
And I
Were you
asked.
put on administrative leave?
I assumed it was a lengthy vacation or something, or some personal leave, but it seemed like it had
did
been.
seem to excuse a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. There was some stuff where I was like, "What's the secret menu?"
That's the main
us,
thing.
First day back. I'm like, oh, answer for. I guess yeah. Sure. First day back. The first day back blues. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
but it does say on the menu. It says, "Ask about our secret menu,"
Yes.
and then
Hey,
he seemed.
it's my first day back. Don't ask me. I don't know.
He
I'm
not
gonna
only
use that excuse for everything in my life.
he not only didn't know. It's honestly it's
He put it
weird that-
back on me. He was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna. I don't have nothing for you."
Well, not only did he not know what was on the secret menu, he didn't seem to be aware of the existence of a secret
Yes.
menu, which was fascinating.
He literally said, "You tell me," didn't
Yeah,
he? He was like, "Well,
yeah.
you tell him," and I was like, well, "I don't know."
First day back has been 25 years.
He was great,
Very nice. Very attentive.
very attentive.
He checked with us a few times, and I also looked at him, and I was like, "This guy must be working like multiple tables, 7 tables." Or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
He's like, he was sweating. I was like, he's running around. It seems like this man is running everywhere.
Yeah, he seemed overworked. So let's start with beverages. Raspberry, strawberry, lemonade. I mean, this was just a big mug of sugar. I did like it overall, but man, it was punishingly sweet.
That
I
was
think
a
this
children's order.
It was
I
for
mean,
kids. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
It was a big mug, but a huge mug. A
Huge mug, yeah.
A comically large mug.
Yeah.
No child should have
No,
a mug that
no,
big.
no,
It was huge. It was gigantic. I thought it had to have been a booze drink because I was like, "Oh, that's like a big comical
Right.
booze drink." But no, it's all strawberry lemonade. It was
do-
good. It tasted good.
I do appreciate that they have some non-alcoholic options. And they have like a half dozen or so that aren't just like either like we can make you a cocktail without the booze, or we have fountain drinks. So they had some like curated like, hey, here's some specialty lemonades and iced tea. That was nice. And you got a Mai Tai. How'd that sit with you?
It was all right. It wasn't bad. It was like a very chain restaurant Mai Tai, which was like orange juice was one of the ingredients. It
Sure.
feels like. I mean, but it wasn't the worst version of that I've ever had.
I think there are big like whiskey cocktails. I think that's kind
Yeah.
of like the stuff they push
They
there.
had moonshine.
Moonshine,
which I
yeah.
almost got.
You were tempted to hit that.
I was tempted, and then there was 100 proof, and I said, "Is this real?" And the guy said, "Yes."
Yeah.
and which I don't know why I thought it
Yeah,
would
you
be
don't think it'll,
fake.
it'll lie on the menu.
Yeah, but it was
It's
a little,
actually 90 proof.
I mean,
Which
I
one
didn't know
look
that they
cool?
served. I guess 100 proof isn't that
50%.
151 they don't
Yeah.
do anymore.
Yeah.
But the moonshine just didn't sound good to me. And then I just had one cocktail, and then I was done.
Yeah, I had a blue moon beer, which was I didn't want to bring this up, but it was warm and a little flat.
Oh,
And
what
I
a
couldn't
bummer.
figure why. I mean, it was just a bad tap. Was it
Yeah.
on tap? I don't know. But it was okay. But it wasn't exactly refreshing.
Yeah.
That's
Just
a
one
bummer.
of those, and that was it. That's all I had.
Yeah, we all just had the one drink.
This sucks.
Yeah, that's a bummer. We got the okay. Let's start with some apps. So we had the sweet molasses bread, which is complimentary, and that was a
Delicious.
big thing I remember. A lot of fun. It's just a brown bread. It's like the Cheesecake Factory brown bread. I think Cheesecake
not-
Factory is a little bit better, but it's fun to tear apart.
Not keeping your kegs in a fridge, right? Is what that has to be. If you have-
Oh, well, let's move on. You're wallowing on this now.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
I'm sure Taffer would diagnose it. He'd figure it out. It would be like the taps. Honestly, it's probably the taps haven't been cleaned
Hell,
in
I
a
think
while.
Toonsy could
That's what
figure
always
it out if
is.
you brought Toonsy down.
You're a medical man. Take a look at this.
The brown bread was I liked the brown bread
Yeah.
quite a bit. Yeah.
It's great. It's a lot of fun.
And the butter, what I appreciate at restaurants, which you don't always get, is, and you always have, I always have this problem, usually at diners, is cold butter. And this was nice, like warm butter, so you could easily spread.
Yeah.
And
Very
easy
spreadable.
spread.
You know where I think they keep it? Next to the keg. And I'll say this: a double bubble is passed because Halloween is over,
Right.
but double butter was in full effect because they gave
two
us 2 butters.
ramekins of butters, yeah. Double butter.
Sorry.
Maybe they consulted Dr. Toonsy on that one. How many butters should we get? Yeah, we had double butter, Toil and Trouble, and they were
They were good.
I like having. Here's the thing.
Honestly, started off pretty good.
This is a dippin' sauce / spread issue you run into a lot. Is aside from it being like, hey, this is the wrong temperature, you don't get enough.
Yeah.
Here you get too much. Like it's like like we had a little bit of butter left over, and that's what I want. I want to be able
Yeah.
to be a little bit,
No butter scarcity on the table.
Exactly, 100%. We also got the Wagon Wheel sampler platter. This is their fried zucchini, their chipotle buffalo chicken tenders, loaded potato skins, and shrimp.
Why
cocktail.
wagon wheel? There was nothing wagon wheel about it that I can rember.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know what
know.
that means.
There might have been I think there might have been a wagon wheel in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's no shape of a wheel. There's just like frozen fried food plopped on a tray.
Now I want to look at the pic to see if it was like at least a circular
I could be
plate, but I
wrong.
don't think it was. No, I think it was just a regular plate.
No, it was more.
It was a
oval.
tray.
It was a tray.
It was a
yes,
tray.
that's right.
It was a
Yeah,
rectangular
there's
tray.
nothing wheelie about that.
That wagon's going nowhere. That was look. I
Look,
think
that's a wheel. That's a wheel to me. It's a rectangle, sir. Will, we just have to put it on under the wagon and see what happens. Will, sure look like a wheel to me.
I think the shrimp. Look, I love a shrimp cocktail. I have just gotten like a straight up shrimp cocktail from here, and I think it's pretty solid. I like that. You mentioned that it was nice and chilled, which
Certainly loved it. You asked for the extra piece of the shrimp.
no one else wanted it. It was just sitting there in the cocktail sauce.
Were there four? There were 4 shrimps.
There were 4
And there were
shrimps.
3 of us, and
Yeah.
yeah, I was fine with that.
Yeah. I think, I guess what I want to ask you is what possessed you after we said, yeah, take the extra shrimp to then not ask and take the extra
Jesus
buffalo
Christ,
piece.
there was an extra.
Oh.
It was first off, they'd been cut in half.
I mean, but
It was sitting there for a while.
They'd been cut in half. There were 3 of them. Had been sitting there for a while. I was getting to room temp. So I kind of did the math of like everyone's probably had like 2 halves.
were you possessed by some sort of gluttony archangel? I'm just
If
trying
you
to think
wanted
of
it, you
what
coulda
went
had
through
it.
your head.
If you'd wanted it, you could have had it.
It's just a man possessed. I took the shrimp, and I'm gonna take the last buffalo thing without saying a word to the 2 guests.
Yeah. Well,
The 2 guests. Meatball
not
and
a
the guy.
I think the wagon wheel's a free for all. I think
Yeah.
you take as much as you can get and not worry about it.
That's
not
fair.
not be too worried about equal distribution.
If you'd wanted it, because you mentioned this before, I stabbed
I-
it. Before.
I
If you
gave- I
wanted
gave-
it, I would have given it to you.
I gave you a little shit. I actually did not want it. I don't know if I was like full or not really hungry last night, or if the food was bad. I think it was. I don't know. It was a combination of the two. Where as I was eating, I was like, I shouldn't eat any more of this stuff as it kind of went on.
Well,
Because
Tim,
we all got the smaller steaks.
we did. Well, Tim, you mentioned that there was a lot of just like loaded potato going on. They had the loaded potato skins, the appetizer. They have a loaded potato soup, which none of us got.
I never understood. I couldn't. We should have ordered that for research purposes because I don't know when you. On the appetizers, there's loaded potato soup, and then there's also steak soup.
Steak soup.
Yes.
Steak soup
What
seems
the
kind of
hell
crazy to
is
me
that?
when they're.
I haven't had the steak soup. I have had the loaded baked potato soup in the past, and it kind of is just like a pureed version, of the baked potato itself. It's got all the same components with some like bacon
Right.
garnish.
The statement "I haven't had the steak soup" I think would apply to like 99% of America. I don't know who has had the steak soup.
Yeah.
But I do think the shrimp cocktail was the highlight here. Everything else was fine. You know, it's this is the thing. We've had Mitch. You and I have had. I can't count how many of these versions of the sampler platter we've had at different chain
You
restaurants.
know what? I kind of liked the little zucchini things.
They
They're
weren't
all
bad,
right.
but
Fine.
Fine.
Breaded, fried vegetables.
Yeah.
Dip it in ranch or whatever. And
That's the thing. They're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like this is definitely like a high ceiling, high floor, low ceiling food. And I don't think the floor or ceiling are all that high. Like it's kind of like whatever. You know, you get this at TGI Fridays, you get this at Chili's. It's all the same.
I had Musso and Frank's this last week, which I love, and the shrimp cocktail at Black Angus was better than.
Wow.
And I love Musso and Frank's, and don't go to Musso and Frank's if you come to LA ever. It's a great restaurant, but the shrimp tasted fine. They were a little kind of dinky shrimps.
they were
Yeah,
small.
they're small guys.
That's why he needed to.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing? Because
Please.
I forgot to say it on my podcast, but just back to pizza for 1 second.
Mhm.
I do believe in Joe's Pizza in New York. When I get that pizza, I feel very happy. I feel like that's the ideal pizza for me. It's like a simple New York slice. I do like Chicago style pizza, Pequods. Like I'm not
Pequods is
a
good.
pizza hater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm just not putting it. Whatever. I just want to get it clear. I know what I'm talking about with pizza.
Well, see, this is the podcast.
Now we're done.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
We're done with that. Silo that out.
2 bits of news for you. One is that Joe's Pizza has now come to Hollywood.
Yes,
I've had
they've been
the
around
ones.
for a while.
Yeah, I've had it out here,
But
yeah.
then the official New York
Yeah.
Joe's,
Mhm.
and then 2. Oh, this isn't. I was more asking you because you're Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
What for you? Did you have like? And you didn't go over this. You were vegan at one point.
Not really.
No? Oh, that's a
I've
lie.
taken. Where'd you get that from?
I think I got that maybe from the net.
I've taken breaks from eating meat. I mean, I haven't gone full. Yeah.
Someone texted me that you were vegan when I said you were coming on the
really?
show.
Please tell me who this is. I can't wait to find out.
I don't look.
Have you had? Here's one, because this is the place that Mitch took me to, and I did really feel like I had a transcendent slice of pizza, and it had been hyped to me for years on this podcast, which is Pizzeria Regina in Boston. Have you ever had that?
I've never had good pizza in Boston.
Wow.
I mean, that's a thing, right? I mean, that's a thing.
The
Boston pizza is known for being.
no,
Yes.
Pizzeria Regina in the North End is
Okay, that's like the Italian.
the
region.
Italian section where the old Italians that's where they are.
Okay.
It's very good. Hold on, I looked up vegan. All I can find is that you saying we could do that vegan McDonald's on La Brea.
Is that what you're thinking of?
No, someone told me you were vegan or had been vegan at one point.
Maybe. I mean, I go through every fad there is at some point,
Yeah.
but that wasn't long. It wasn't a long period of time.
Did you not eat meat? He
I
didn't
think
eat meat.
watched that documentary that was very popular a few years ago. That Netflix
Oh,
one. It
yeah.
was like, I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
can't remember the title.
Is it
I read the
Fat,
book
Sick, and
Fast
Nearly
Food
Dead?
Nation years ago, and that they made that into a doc too, and that was one that put me off meat for a while.
Yeah.
And then more recently, I kind of did it almost partly as a health thing, but also partly as a challenge to do this podcast without having meat for a whole year.
You didn't know.
When
You
was
didn't know.
that?
You didn't know fish too, right? You were.
Yeah,
strictly,
yeah. No,
I mean, I think all these places should be serving veggie burgers. Like, I think the veggie burgers at, who's got a great veggie burger is Astro.
Oh,
Astro
sure.
Diner.
Yeah.
But all these, like McDonald's should be totally having a veggie burger on the menu. That
Yeah.
would be probably wouldn't know the difference.
We had a terrible name. It was the McPlant.
They had
We
the
ate-
McPlant
we
on
ate
here.
The McPlant.
Here's the thing, like all these chains have tried this. They've all tried some pea protein patty. They've
Right.
all tried like the Beyond or the Impossible
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
The only one that stuck around is the Burger King Impossible Whopper. All the rest of them, like Yum Brands, like tried it at Taco Bell. They tried it at KFC. They
And
tried
that
it.
Impossible Walker is
They tried a Pizza Hut,
yeah.
and they discontinued all of them because they just weren't selling. I think
Right.
part of it is because there's a premium, and
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's if it's more expensive than meat, I think then someone who
Yeah.
eats meat isn't going to go for it. you
Yeah,
know?
it did. Does Del Taco still do the?
No, they discontinued Beyond Tacos.
That was pretty good.
Those were
too.
good. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Excuse
bummer.
me if this is hurtful anyway. I apologize. How come you didn't look any better after that year of
Oh.
vegetarian eating?
Was it a
Jesus
year?
Christ.
Was it a year?
Yeah, it was a year.
Wow.
I did gain some weight.
Yeah, you looked more like shit.
I
is
did
what
look
thought.
worse. Well, you know what it is? Here's the thing is like because you're eating less
You look great.
because thank you, Mitch. But like you end up eating more carbs to compensate because it's just like I don't know. Hey, if I go to a fast food restaurant, I can't get a burger. Well, I guess I'll get like fucking cheese fries or something, or I'll eat more pizza, or I'll
Right.
eat more
Ice
like
cream.
quesadillas and ice cream. Yeah, exactly.
Working with you, I can't not look at your thighs. They're on display all the time, as you see. So I think I noticed it was that thing where I was like, oh, is Weiger gonna get really skinny? And I guess I just didn't notice you like slimming down, which I guess is just is not the truth when you become a vegetarian or
No.
vegan.
No,
at
no.
all.
Not necessarily.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. No, because it's like what's the cliche, the college vegetarian, right? It's like you're eating like really unhealthy. So you're eating a bunch of pasta and pizza,
Right,
you
right.
know, but you're not eating meat. I'm looking over the menu right now, and I don't think there are really any options that you can get as a straight up vegetarian here. I mean, they do have a salmon, and they do have you can get like a shrimp. But there isn't anything there isn't even just like a
Pasta with-
fettuccine Alfredo or something.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
there's nothing like that. Your option here, I think, is a farm fresh salad with no protein, which is a real bummer of a dinner. So that's just a thing to consider. This is very much meant for meat eaters. So
Tim, I got a question for you before we get back into it. Did you have any Pennsylvania restaurants that you love that you missed that aren't out here? Is there something? I mean, like I know that like they talk about Pat's and Geno's, and then like people
Yeah.
say those suck, and then there's the other
I
ones
grew
that
up
are
in
better.
Allentown, Pennsylvania, and the restaurant
wow.
that we would go to was a restaurant called the Brass Rail, and it was like an elevated diner. It was a diner, I guess, a family restaurant, but it was a family restaurant. You could get like manicotti,
fun.
you could get a sirloin steak. But they also had the cheesesteaks, and their cheesesteaks I thought were as good as the Philly ones. They were great. Pierogies. It had Pennsylvania Dutch quality. A little bit of an influence there, but you'd get rice pudding. It's kind of, there was, it was a family run place. They just closed, they closed for good, but they've been around since like the 40s or something. And they had some old Pennsylvania Dutch servers there, and a couple of the names, and I'll never forget these women. These are a couple of their names, and they had the name tags.
Yeah.
One was Bimby, and one was Dorcas. That's a name.
Wow.
That's like a Greek name, I think.
Wow.
But
That's like something we get called if we were
Yeah.
being bullied.
Bimby and
Bimby and Dorcas.
Who's who?
Sorry.
Bimby and Dorcas. And this is great. My dad had worked kind of basically next door. He had a car dealership with my grandfather and uncle, and they would almost like 4 days a week eat there for lunch. It was
That's
great.
great.
Yeah, right.
And but they never their customer service was never great. This is very Pennsylvania Dutch kind of thing. They'd come in and they would just treat them like, there's no, hey there, Rich, how's it going? How's everything? They're like, where? How many are you? Like that kind of attitude. And then they would say smoking or non-smoking, or they'd say smoking preference. That's what they used to say.
For people
Wow.
that they see like four times
Times
that's
a week.
insane.
Smoking preference. They don't care. First time my dad really made me laugh. Well, that's not true. I'm sure he made, but when I was like, oh, my dad's cool, they would say smoking preference, and he would go hash.
That's good. It's kind of an edgy dad joke.
It's an edgy dad joke.
Yeah.
That's
He's a
when-
baby boomer.
When I told you that I got I told you this on office hours that I I got a colonoscopy. I got the camera up there. And my dad's big joke was, I always said he was full of shit. And the doctors all liked it. It was a nice moment.
Yeah.
It's fun.
But that was my thing. And then the other thing, we would go, what we considered sort of that Burger King next, like up one level from whatever is fast food, for us was Arby's.
Yeah, I like Arby's.
Arby's was
Arby's
considered
defenders.
a little bit of we would go and sit down and, of course, you'd order at the counter and stuff, but that would be like a Wednesday night kind of, family out. We're going out to dinner. We're going to go to Arby's. Oh, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't considered gross. It wasn't considered lowbrow.
No.
It was just like you can get a good turkey sandwich there.
Yeah.
The Jamocha shake is great.
The Jamocha shake is awesome.
Yeah.
The beef and cheddar, I think, is really good.
I love a beef and cheddar.
I was about to say we're a big defender of Arby's, but it seems like we defend pretty much everything.
Yeah, there's what would you like say? I'm not like, for me, maybe like Long John Silver's I would stay away from.
Those are
Long
pretty
John Silver's
bad.
is
They're on
pretty
their
bad.
way out.
We've reviewed it a couple of times on the podcast. It's been a pretty bad experience both times.
Yeah.
Hardee's. Hardee's is probably
Hardee's and Carl's Jr. the
Jr.'s
same corporate
that's right.
ownership.
But
so
Hardee's is
Yeah.
a different menu, right?
it has a lot of overlap,
Okay.
but I've honestly never eaten at a proper Hardee's. And that would
Right.
be interesting if we ever want to do an episode on that.
Mhm.
Like if we're ever east of the Mississippi
Yeah,
or
I
whatever
gotta
the
go
dividing
east
line is.
to Mississippi.
But
Well, I mean, we won't do that.
yeah.
And then, of
Sounds-
course, we would also, one more, we would go to the Pizza Hut when the Pizza Hut was a restaurant.
Yes, the
I
buffet.
mean,
Yeah.
not even buffet. Well, they would have the salad bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we would go to a Pizza Hut that had a waiter. And,
Yeah,
it was great.
I know.
It was
That
the
makes us
best.
sad, yeah.
That's a nostalgic experience that I think is overdue to be brought back, and I'm surprised they haven't taken a crack at it. But I will say that, even if it's not Pizza Hut themselves, it's someone else hasn't tried the Pizza Hut style parlor.
Yeah.
But speaking of what has fallen off or what we're not a fan of, a Pizza Hut now I think is a place that we've had some pretty bad experiences with, Mitch.
Yeah, it's been awful. Bring back the Pizza Hut restaurants. Bring back smoking sections. Bring back cigarettes.
Bring back cigarettes.
We want cigarettes back. We
Cigarettes
want to
are
bring
back.
back cigarettes.
So we also got the 3 cheese garlic bread, which to me the highlight of the meal. This is the best bite I had.
It was very
I will
buttery.
say
and
yes,
great.
except for the dessert, which we can talk about later.
Dessert was great.
Yeah.
The dessert was good.
But I mean, maybe that kind of speaks to the experience. That garlic bread and then a mud pie were like what our takeaways of like that was really good at the steakhouse for a place that we spent a good amount of money on, which I'll get to.
Oh, interesting. I did not see the
I didn't see the bill either.
Do you want to? I mean, I'll just tell you, we spent with tax and tip, we spent about $100 a head. This was this is an expensive meal, and we did not go nuts here.
Right. No, we had one drink each.
We had one drink each. We
We
got
got
2
the
appetizers. We
smaller
got 2
steak,
desserts,
yeah.
and then we each got an entree. Like we
Right.
did not go nuts here. But this place is food's
Wow,
fucking
that's-
expensive.
That's a high price point.
Yeah,
That's-
Is that a thing people say? Sounded right. That's
Yeah,
a
it
high
sounds
price
right,
point.
yeah. I'll start
What am I
saying
in
it.
the
Yeah, we're gonna start using
Shark
it.
Tank?
Okay, let's get into unless anyone has any other thoughts on the garlic bread, we can get into the mains.
I thought it was great. I thought
Garlic
it
bread was very tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
garlicky.
It kind of looked better than it actually was because it looked really like brown and it had some nice char. It was like it felt real and it was good, but I almost was wanting a little more savory flavor in there.
Oh,
yeah, sure.
I thought the garlic. There was a taste of garlic. You get some garlic bread, and it's like Dracula could chow down on this and be fine.
Right.
And then if I saw Dracula eating this, I'd say, I don't know how you're doing it. I guess is what I'd say.
Can I use that as in my stand-up routine? The whole Dracula garlic bread thing? You ever go to these so-called garlic bread places? I mean, Dracula could eat it. One of these, no problem.
You're very welcome to use it if you
unless
like.
you want to use it. I mean, unless you're thinking about developing.
I'd use it, but then in that scenario, I only have one joke, and it's that.
It was very cheesy. Like that was the main thing you were getting was just a lot of cheesening, and the garlic was a little bit on the back burner. Okay, so getting to the steaks, I got a ribeye, and I've been eating less red meat in general, but this is a steakhouse. This is the point of the experience.
You did the right thing.
Kind of had to get it here. I got the ribeye, and I got crispy shrimp on the side. You get 2 sidekicks, which is what they call their sides. I got the Caesar salad,
Hate
which
that, by the way.
Yeah,
Hate that.
I don't like sidekicks.
is
either.
it fun?
Well,
No, not to me, but I don't know. Maybe there's dopes out there who get turned on by that.
I know. Well, and that's
You
what
see this, huh? sidekicks. What the hell they code that? I don't know why I'm just doing dumb Southern guy. I'm sorry, but I do a Boston guy, but I don't.
They would not be impressed by it.
No.
And there was no Black Anguses in Boston either. But I
or in the South for that matter.
yeah.
People in Hawaii love it.
The Caesar salad was inexplicably an upcharge. I have no idea why this cost more than a
It
regular
didn't make
salad.
sense.
Yeah.
I got the wedge being an upcharge, but the wedge, I had both of our add-ons because you got the wedge, correct? And then you also got the loaded baked potato.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
They were both
what a
so
bummer.
disappointing.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, like the wedge was fine.
Which is fine. Cold fork was neat.
Cold fork was
I
neat.
love that.
But I think we both had that same issue. And I'm not a guy who's like eating the goop off of the wedge salad, but we both had the pretty huge head of lettuce left over on the wedge.
Yes, not a lot of dressing.
Yeah. It wasn't, or at least it wasn't. They didn't slather it on correctly.
No.
But that. I thought the sidekicks were also confusing because it was salads. There were salad soups and then sides all in there.
There were like there were different categories of what is it? There was like bonus sidekicks or something. There were like featured sidekicks.
Yes,
What
premium
is it?
sidekicks.
Premium
and that's where I
It's
got that. My
crazy.
Caesar salad was and the wedge salad were both premium sidekicks. It's which is an upcharge. It is confusing. The loaded baked potato also premium sidekick.
See,
and that was that.
So that's a double
That's
upcharge.
maybe
what's
one.
standard sidekick?
Oh, okay, I'll read down the full list. It's too many. It's
Too
Unka
many.
Pachka. This is the kind of thing that, if a celebrity chef would come through and would tell them to simplify their
Yeah.
menu. Garden salad, loaded baked potato soup, steak soup, 5-grain rice pilaf. Who's ordering the pilaf
No one's
there?
getting the pilaf.
No one's
Who's
getting the
the
pilaf.
soup.
Roasted green beans, French fries, which I got, red skin mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, classic baked potato, au gratin potatoes. You don't need 4 potato
Ooh, I
preparations.
didn't see the au gratin. I might have gone au gratin. That would have been my steakhouse choice.
I think that maybe that might have been a better call than the baked potato based on
Yeah.
your responses, and
Wow.
better than the fries based on my fries, and then also fresh broccoli with garlic butter. So you got a lot of options here,
Yeah.
and then there's 5 premium sidekicks on top of that.
If I'm going to like a high end, like you go to like a high end steakhouse, like what would be a good example of
Morton's?
that? Like or like
Mastro's.
Sparks is that one?
Cut.
Would have been a Sparks. Yeah, Cut is the Wolfgang Puck one.
What's like
yeah.
what's the classic one in New York? Like
Oh yeah, the one that's in it's in Williamsburg.
Yeah,
What the fuck's it? It's like a name.
yeah, I forget what it's called, but
Some fucking Brooklyn
People
guy's
know.
yelling at us. What the hell's it
somebody
called?
back there behind the cameras might know. But it's coming to me. No, it's not. It's gone. But I want cream spinach. Anybody? Cream spinach?
Oh,
I love a cream spinach. Not an option there.
Potatoes
Not
au
an option
gratin.
at all.
Are
Yeah.
you talking about the
Peter Luger.
Peter Luger.
Peter
yeah,
Luger, thank you.
Peter Luger. There's others like that. But
Lowry's
yeah,
out here, kind
yeah.
of.
You get big hot mess of cream spinach, maybe mushrooms.
Sure.
Some good mushrooms and some potatoes au gratin, or good fries. Good French fries would be great. But
Yeah,
Who's
my
Luger?
fries are only okay.
Isn't Luger someone? Oh, is Luger a gun?
Luger is a
Luger's
gun.
a gun.
Luger's a
There's
gun.
there's Lex
also
Luger,
there's a-
Superman's.
There was a senator, Richard
Luger. Oh yeah.
Dick Luger.
Oh, I don't think I'm not thinking of him.
The wrestler Lex Luger.
Oh, Lex Luger. That's what that is.
Yeah.
No, that's Lex. You're joking.
Lex Luthor is Superman's guy. I misspoke. That's not Superman's guy. Lex Luger is
He's a
the
wrestler.
wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like Kruger too. So I think that's maybe a part of what's clicking in my head right now.
You're thinking of Freddy Krueger because we're
Yeah.
coming off of Halloween. the
Yeah.
Spooky season. Got it. Yeah.
So the steaks themselves. Should we
Yes.
talk about the main event?
Yeah, please.
Are you sure you don't want to get into Kruger just a little
Yeah.
bit
No,
more?
Or
Or
Oogers.
Kroger's grocery store. My son calls it Freddy Cougar,
That's really cute.
That's cute.
but he's
That's adorable.
23. I think I said that on my. I have a great dad joke. Or if you have kids, you don't have kids.
I don't have kids.
No.
but your audience might.
Got a pretty low T demographic.
Ask me if I say I have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And if one of your stock responses to that might be to ask how old they are.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
They're my age.
That's fun. Mitch, you and I both got the ribeye. Real quick, I'll say the crispy shrimp was fine.
Crispy shrimp
everything
was
that
a highlight to me. I just want to point
maybe
out
the best thing on the plate.
that loaded mashed potato is not good either. Loaded baked potato was maybe the biggest disappointment to me of the whole night.
Yeah.
It was like
I don't even remember. I kind of just like I was in denial of it, so I didn't. I kind of messed around with it a little bit, took some bites, but yeah, a great fluffy, mashed potato with like a bunch of bacon and sour cream and cheese, like that can be really good. This was not that. This was kind of microwaved feeling. It was not.
I just remember like the sour cream just kind of like solidified in the middle of it. It was horrible.
Not ideal.
Which is, it seems like a thing that's also hard to make bad, but it was bad.
Crispy shrimp was fine.
Yeah.
Maybe the best thing on the plate. So a lot of cocktail sauce. And then Mitch and I both got the ribeye medium rare with the roasted jalapeno butter.
Yeah, we did. We were very similar meals.
We're twinsies.
I was trying to get us the porterhouse for 2. But you know what? I don't think it would have been all that
It's
bad.
not a cost savings. That's the thing. I did the math. It would have honestly probably would have cost us more to share.
Yeah. I got the New York strip just because I always, my go-to is the what you guys ordered,
ribeye.
The ribeye, and I wanted to say, I'll try something different. It feels like maybe but I looked at your plate, looked at mine. They look like the same cuts.
Yeah, they might have been the same cut of meat.
Yeah.
Just relabeled.
Unremarkable cuts of meat, like not great.
No, not. What you were saying during the meal was pretty accurate. That it was a decent airport meal. If you were at
I
an
felt
airport.
really. I had this feeling of like, all right, I think they're boarding in about 20. That was the feeling I had.
Which for
just
that
like
it would have been nice.
Kind of a gray piece of meat with like the lines on it, but like not just nothing great about any of the bites. Like I don't know.
Speaking of Kruger, sorry to go back to it. The steak, the shades of steak that they put on the menu.
That was weird.
It was very strange. It was very red, and then on a red background.
Yeah, they had the to give you a sense of medium, rare. They had what the insides look like. Those steaks were on like a blood red background.
Which is just blended. It blended into the back. You couldn't tell what it was, and then the medium rare was like so red that I was afraid to get it.
Yeah.
And then when we got it, like you're saying, it was like, it's gray.
Yeah, and it was not. Yours wasn't medium rare, right?
No, of course, not even close.
I have the menu
Oh,
up
there
here,
it is.
which you can look at, which we
Look
can
at
maybe put up on the YouTube or
Take a look. That's hard.
take
It's
that photo.
weird.
Any
Oh,
other
that's
color.
bad.
yeah, it's
Black would have been the best.
Black or blue. I mean,
yeah.
Black Angus
Like a
would
light
work for the
blue.
black. The
Yeah.
black would work.
I wonder if they were partly trying to deter like people who have steak like it's like, oh, this is our big indulge. They're gonna go out and steak and like, oh, I'll get it medium rare, but then they get it and they're like, wait, I want my meat cooked through all the way. I wonder if they're partly trying to deter people who don't have it often. I don't know
It's
it
weird
looks
because like
overly rare.
The other thing is, this is like a level of I guess. Well, it's chain. It's not fast food. It's chain restaurants that it's competing with what like Applebee's.
Yeah, sure. Longhorn Steakhouse.
Maybe Red Lobster.
Sure. Outback.
You got Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah,
Even though-
100%.
Could you get a steak at the Cheesecake Factory?
You can, yeah,
Maybe?
and it would probably be better than this steak.
And so anybody
is
and
more
and
fun,
I
huh?
like I have
Outback
like
is more fun.
my aunt back in Pennsylvania. They're like they don't go out to eat a lot. They don't have a lot of money. They're on a fixed income and everything, and like when they go out to eat, it's a big deal.
Sure.
And they're like for someone's birthday in that family, they would go to Red Lobster because that's like and I'm not judging at all. It's
No.
just a fact. If there was this restaurant in town, they wouldn't go back.
Interesting.
I don't think they would because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we had a better experience at Red Lobster. And it was
Sure.
probably cheaper.
Yeah.
Right? Or at Outback or like I don't know how this restaurant if the quality is going to be the way it was that we had and the price is going to be that high. Like how does that restaurant survive? I don't get it.
I mean, the short answer might be it's not really.
Right.
It's clearly retracting or contracting. I mean, like, look, I have a lot of fondness for this place. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's easy to acknowledge that this was not a great steak, and mine was cooked like medium rare to medium. It felt like it was pretty decently cooked. I feel like a steakhouse will usually get it at temperature okay, but the big issues are. It's cooked on that, like that flame grill. So it's got like the grill marks, but it doesn't really have any texture to it.
No,
it's just kind of
There's
like
no,
Burger King.
that what is that Millard?
Yeah.
That kind of like
Yeah.
caramelized.
Yes.
The skin or whatever is crisp. There's a crispness to the outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of has
Looks
a little bit of
rubbery
a
almost.
gummy, chewy texture to it. And then also it doesn't seem to be seasoned at all. They might have put a little salt on there, but like I really needed that roasted jalapeno butter or else it wouldn't have had any real flavor outside of the meat itself. And this is another thing that you and I talked about, Tim, and I thought this was a great point you made is like, in terms of degree of difficulty and how much you'll be paying for it out at a restaurant, like steak is a much better option to do at home.
I said that. I always say that. It's like if you learn, like, and you can look up, go to a grocery store and get a ribeye.
Yeah.
Take it home. Get a cast iron pan. Get it screaming hot. Throw the steak in there and flip it around a couple times. Salt, if you can really get into it, you'd salt the shit out of it like an hour ahead of time on both sides.
Yeah.
Let it kind of come up to room temperature. Throw it in that hot pan. Flip it around a couple times. Add a little butter, a little sage or whatever, a little, some herbs if you want. That's the best steak you're gonna have.
Yeah.
That's the best steak you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's a lot simpler than a lot of other like fine dining, sort of prestige.
Well, it's funny because
premium
even the
items.
ones that we went to, because we went, what steakhouse did we go with Kalpakis?
We went to Morton's.
Morton's was good.
Yeah.
I liked.
Well, but it's like you go to a nice steakhouse. For me, it's like you're gonna get a martini.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're gonna get those sides that I mentioned. You got a glass of wine or a bottle of wine, and it's like the steak is almost not the main event. The
Yeah.
steak is kind of the reason for the season. That's kind of cool.
That is great.
But
That's rad.
everything else is like actually the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do like a steak. That aside, I do love steakhouse vibes. I love going to a steakhouse, like just for atmosphere alone. Like that does a lot for me. The issue with Black Angus is, the steak itself is just so, spending $40 on this bad boy. I don't know. It's not necessarily the best option there.
Right.
And especially in a city like LA, you can find local steakhouses that have more charm and that a better quality of food. But that's all that said.
The reason I brought up Kruger, by the way, is because his skin looked like the meat. That's why. That's what it was. We should talk about desserts as well. 'Cause
That's right.
That was more of a. Well, actually, I shouldn't say half of it was
a mixed
highlight.
bag.
It was a mixed bag.
The Sky High Mud Pie, I thought was.
I ordered that. That
Yes.
was meant to be my dessert, and I realized it was huge.
Yeah.
We were going to share,
Yeah.
but it was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Had
And
the
then-
Oreo crust.
Yeah.
Then we got the dud.
We got the
Wagner and I picked
chocolate
up the
chip
dud.
cowboy cookie, which they're really pushing. Like they
Yeah.
have like a full page splash
Which
of the cowboy cookie.
that seems like it seems like a home run. It seems like a thing that you should be able to pull off
It
easily.
was hard to physically get.
Yeah.
that. It was like stuck. It came served in like a tin wheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just like it didn't come up off that, so you had to like kind of scrape away at the tin. You almost feel like you're gonna get some tin with your cookie.
Yeah.
Yes, which I don't want personally. The
Minerals could be good.
The minerals could be
Sure.
good, but for overall, I'm not trying to eat tin.
No.
But it was hard in one area, and then the next would be goopy.
Yeah.
The texture was really inconsistent.
one spot you got goop, and the other is hard.
But I mean, the main thing is just like especially right next door to a BJ's. And they got the Bazooki, which is a showstopper and is always consistent. This was fucking a pale imitation of a Bazooki, and it was. I also think like it was just like a low quality of the chocolate chip, but like whatever. It felt like a grocery store like out
I'm
of a
no
tube.
goat. I'm not gonna eat the tin.
No.
I'm not the Tin Man.
Or going back to that,
Does the Tin Man eat? The Tin Man doesn't eat.
the Tin Man doesn't eat his own flesh.
That's not
no.
how he gets the name.
Yeah.
It's because he's made out of tin.
I'm no
He's
goat.
a 19th century robot.
Like I said, no, I'm no goat. I don't want the. You don't want the. And then you're right. And that cookie is made in. It's made in the little.
It's in the skillet.
It's skillet.
Yeah.
Which is so much better than.
Yeah, it comes out easier. And,
Yeah. No tin.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel bad.
No,
This
I
is
don't
part of
think
the
you should
show
feel
is
Can I
that we
give
got
you-
a great guest. We
Can I
bring
get
it to a
no,
shithole.
I'll give a positive piece of positive perspective on it.
Mhm.
Please.
I went home. I felt fine.
Okay.
Like I laid down to go to bed shortly after getting home, and I slept well. I had a good bowel movement this morning.
That's
great.
You know what?
I was expecting the worst.
Yeah.
I ate all those appetizers. I had that big that dessert is essentially ice cream and Oreo cookies. All that stuff could have led to some intestinal discomfort.
Yeah.
Or bad sleep. Like all kinds of consequences. Food poisoning. That place kind of had food poisoning. Red flags all over the place.
100%. The shrimp and everything too. And I was nervous about some of that stuff. I mean, I thought the shrimp was good, but I was just like,
who knows?
Who knows? There was cocktail sauce was on a heated plate.
It's true.
So I felt it was overall like it didn't. There's no downside after the fact.
No,
I have not had a bowel movement and I didn't sleep well, but
okay.
I didn't sleep well not because of the thing.
You've not had a bowel movement since we had dinner.
Yeah, I know.
The clock's ticking, dude. It's
Yeah,
been a
I
while.
know.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm kind of nervous. There won't be a Mr. Creosote situation or something. I also, my bathroom light turned on at 3 a.m.
Ooh.
I drove by a murder house recently, and
So
now
you've
I'm
got a
afraid that my
haunting
house is
situation.
haunted.
It is. It is.
Think you
I
drive
swear
by
it
the murder house and
definitely
a
is.
ghost gets in your car?
I think a ghost maybe followed me home.
That's the plot of this haunted mansion movie that I had to watch with my kids.
Wait,
Oh,
really?
the newest
new
one?
Yeah, that they go to this haunted mansion, but then they leave, and a ghost is now with them.
Oh, they get like a hitchhiking ghost. Like
So
on
they
the
got
ride.
to go back
That's
to the
fine.
mansion, and they're like they have to live there now.
Do you know what's scary about the murder house? It was the Los Feliz murder house.
Yeah, up by the park there.
Yeah. And then the house on Haunted Hill House is behind it,
Wow.
which is so scary. It's like right behind it.
And that house is just still empty.
It's still just empty.
Years ago, I remember driving up there and being like, "Oh, there it is."
You could walk right up to it. Now it is barbed wired off, but I drove by it with a friend who wanted to see it. Now the light went on at 3 a.m. and I am just nervous.
Oh, man. Did you get back to sleep?
Yeah, but I was scared. And my
Wow.
first thought was, is that a ghost?
I did sleep. I also slept very well.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly slept like 9 hours. I get a great night's sleep.
Wow.
2 BMs, quality BMs, feeling pretty good. I did
Ghosts? Any ghosts?
no ghost, but I did have a dream. You and I were in the big booth. We were back in the big booth at Black Angus.
Oh my
You
It
know,
wasn't
I've
a Black Angus though. It was just like a weird big booth
You
somewhere.
know what's been annoying? This is, like I've been having dreams lately that I would consider good dreams.
Yeah.
That are annoying because they're like, "Oh, that didn't happen." You wake up and like, "Oh, cool." That good thing didn't happen. Like it's worse
Yeah,
than a
that's annoying.
nightmare.
Yeah, you're
I'd
right.
rather have a nightmare.
Because then you're relieved.
Wake up and be like, "Oh, phew, that didn't
Yeah.
happen."
yeah.
Now I'm having good dreams. That didn't happen.
Well, mine was this was I checked my security camera
Yeah.
and which is facing the bathroom basically.
Sure. Why wouldn't it be?
And that light went on at 3 a.m. and I saw what
You told guests, hey, this camera's for security. Don't worry about it.
Is it on just a simple switch?
Yeah.
no, it's on
No.
a motion sensor switch.
Well,
Wow.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go,
I mean,
yeah.
It's definitely a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Anderson? Mr. Anderson?
Stuart
Yes,
Anderson?
I was
Stuart
gonna say,
Anderson.
I was going to say it might be Stuart checking in on you.
That's
Did you guys ever do pea soup Andersons?
No, we haven't.
no, we
a good
haven't.
one.
Yeah, that would
It's
be
a little
fun.
out of the way.
A little out of the way, but-
that's a great restaurant.
I've been
love
a
that
number of
place.
times.
Yeah.
This is a place that I don't know if there's more than one of them. I think
There are
a few.
There
Yeah,
might be 3 at the most.
you'll see them on the road up the coast California, like driving from SoCal to NorCal. You'll routinely run into them, and it's like got a big windmill and everything.
Yeah,
The
it's very
Exorcist
like
girl.
a Dutch, Swedish kind of vibe, but they got
Yeah.
all you can eat pea soup,
Mhm.
and it's really good.
I do remember
And it's
enjoying pea
vegetarian.
soup. Yeah,
It's very good. I like it up there.
Mhm.
I say well, the Exorcist girl you'd see in there.
because she pukes
Yeah.
up the pea soup.
We should wrap up.
You want to go to break? We're gonna go to break. We'll be back with more Doughboys.
Our next partner has truly made a positive impact on the most important people in my life. And no, I'm not talking about Wags over here.
Hey,
Wags, I love you too, but I'm talking about Wally and Irma, and I love Wally and Irma.
that's true. You do. Let's be real. Having a pet is expensive. From natural pet food to pet sitting, when you go on vacation, the cost can skyrocket quickly. But one thing that's definitely worth it for your fur baby is pet insurance.
Wags, I love Wally and Irma and want to do everything I can to take care of them, and that's why pet insurance is important.
This podcast is sponsored by Embrace Pet Insurance. It's time to upgrade your pet insurance game. Whether you have a dog or a cat, Embrace Pet Insurance offers customized plans for your pet's exact needs.
Did you know vet care prices have increased by 33% from 2022 to 2023? That's insane.
With Embrace Pet Insurance, you can visit any vet or emergency clinic. And if you have multiple pets to insure, you are eligible for a 10% multi-pet discount.
Plus, they have a 24/7 helpline and optional wellness rewards program to ensure you prioritize preventative care for your pet, so you hopefully never even need to use Embrace in the first place.
I know some people think pet insurance is too expensive or not needed, but believe me, when facing a huge vet bill and choosing between your budget and your pet's health, you'll wish you had insurance.
Embrace is actually very affordable.
Don't wait for the unexpected to happen. Join the massive community of pet owners who trust Embrace Pet Insurance to protect their pet. Head to embracepetinsurance.com/doughboys and sign up for pet insurance today. Make sure you go to embracepetinsurance.com/doughboys or else they won't know I sent you.
Do it.
Welcome back to Doughboys. Black Angus on our radar, in our sights. It's time for our fork scores. So, Tim, here's how this will work. We'll each go around, give us our closing argument, if you will, on this particular chain, and then end it by giving a score from 0 to 5 forks. You are our guest. We'll begin with you.
Let me just say, I had a great time spending a couple hours talking to you guys. That was the highlight. It
A lot of
was
fun.
a great. We talked comedy. We talked about what we like, what we don't like. We get into it. We got to know each other more. Mitch, I'm getting to know you. I just met you for the first time.
That's right.
I've spent some time with you. I'm
Yeah.
continuing to develop a friendship.
Of course. Can I
Appreciate
be honest
that.
with you? You won't get to know him much more than like.
Yeah, I might be where I'm fine. I'm like, yes, I'm going to pursue this a little stronger this side, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's
fine. Everything else was mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing really to write home about. I won't be going back, although the parking is tempting. If there was a movie at that theater that I was thinking about doing a dinner movie, the parking there was. But then I'd have to repark anyway, so
Yeah, sure.
I don't think I'll ever go back. So I'll just go 2 forks.
2 forks.
Two Forks is a decent score. I don't have the history with this besides the name, which is a funny name in many ways. I just it's that sort of thing of when you eat a steak, you want it to be good. You want it to be good. If you're spending the calories on a steak,
Yes, right.
and nothing here. It was just mediocre. It's that sad thing that there's not even too much to say about it. And I don't have the thing you have, which is also there's the dogs in here, which is fun.
Jemmy, Emma's dog Jemmy
Jemmy's
is in
here, and we love
being
Jemmy.
very
Jemmy's on the
cute.
floor being cute. We had a
cute.
little bit of an eye
during
draw,
office
but
hours. We had a
very
dog shit in the studio.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
saw
Vic's,
that,
Vic's
yeah.
Vic's
dog
dog,
took
yeah.
a big dump right at the top of the show. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's honestly, Jemmy, get up there and do it, girl.
Our listeners would
Any
like
second.
that moment the most, probably. But yeah, the company was great. I it just feels like a chain that's on its way out. The light menus, the steak being a low light of the whole meal. I gotta go. I'll go 2 forks as well. I think 2 is kind of the perfect number.
I think that's a fair score. I'm going to go a little higher. Not that this place necessarily deserves it off of this experience, but, I have a lot of experiences with this place. Natalie and I have gone to this place on Thanksgiving, which is kind of like we were just like, hey, let's go to a chain restaurant for Thanksgiving. We've been to this place, and that has been like a fun experience, just the two of us. We both went to it a lot growing up, or had been to it growing up. I went, a fair amount as like a special indulgence. Mitch, when you and I were pursuing the possibility of a Doughboys book, one thing we talked about was like some taxonomy for different categories of chain restaurants. And one we landed on is Dad's birthday. And I feel like this place is
Totally.
slots right into Dad's birthday. Like that, I feel like there were dads there.
Divorced dad's birthday.
There were divorced dads celebrating their birthdays like last night. Like we people were being sung happy birthday to, and there were probably, male parents without a partner. And like we were just like that's just the vibe of this place. And so I think it kind of had its moment rather. But yeah, clearly it's kind of fading into the sunset, much like a very Western appropriate. perhaps. But I did want to play this because we didn't get to this earlier. But they had this cowboy who I've learned his name, Travis, who was kind of their living mascot throughout the 80s and 90s and had a bunch of these ads. And this is one of them. This is, I think, a pretty good example of what his demeanor was. This is the Gotta Get Spruced Up TV commercial.
Yeah.
Gotta get spruced up for the big deal at Black Angus. This month you can save $13. Get 2 half-pound prime rib dinners. Share their wagon wheel appetizer sampler. Then split a big mountain fudge cake. Yeah, try it.
Shaving his arms too.
For 2, just $25.
I mean, I know what this
That's over
is.
13
They're
bucks
trying to
off the
confuse you
regular
into thinking you're going to Outback Steakhouse. That's Crocodile Dundee,
Yeah.
right?
It is. It's,
With the knife and the hat.
It is very much like, this is the American Western Crocodile Dundee. But
It's not a beard.
it also predates Outback.
Oh,
But
it does?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm
well,
pretty
no,
sure.
not this commercial.
No, not this commercial,
Sure,
but the
that's
chain
what I'm
does.
saying. The commercial feels like it's a reaction because 97 seems
100%.
like. When did Outback hit? That's got to be 90.
It was the 90s. I mean, it was the aftermath of
90,
that
90,
Australian craze. Yeah.
596. Yeah. Before, probably right before this, I feel like. Also, again, confusing. He's an Australian-y kind of guy.
Is he? Like,
no, this guy's a cowboy.
He's a cowboy.
Okay.
but
Why is he in the snow?
He's the whole thing is that there's a bunch of these ads. He's like very rugged. So he's like, I'm taking a bath in the ice and I'm shaving with a knife because I'm a man's man and you will be too if you come to this cowboy steakhouse. And then he pulls the fresh salmon out and is like, this is the appetizer because I'm just that rugged. They're all like this. There's one where he's like, he like scares off a bear. They're all
I might
this
be
kind of
wrong.
shit.
That was just my first impression. That I'm thinking Outback Steakhouse, Crocodile Dundee. Crocodile Dundee might have been totally out of vogue or whatever.
No, I think you're right. I think the Outback Steakhouse was much more relevant at the time of this campaign, and it could have been a reaction to it, very much so.
I think this hurt my fork score. I don't think that this helps the fork score at all.
It's interesting to see that like the wagon wheel appetizer sampler, which we
looks
got last
fun.
night, but they were advertising that like fucking 30 years ago.
Wow.
That it's been around. The menu is just like not
Can we see
evolved.
it? Is
at
it
all.
also a wheel? Did they serve
Oh, yeah.
theirs
It's
on a
more
wheel?
of a wheel, but those are the same fucking apps. Look,
Yeah.
those are the
Wow.
fried zucchini.
Well, you could say the same thing about the Big Mac, I suppose. But that
That is a wheel.
That's a fucking
That's a
wheel.
wheel.
That's a wheel.
That's a wheel.
It's much more of a wheel.
That's a wheel. He's shaving the rest of his beard and then his arm.
I'm.
I don't want this ghost of Stuart Anderson to come at me, but
I have.
kinda sucks.
I think for what it's
Are, you
doing
still
is
waiting, are we still waiting on your rating? Is that what's going on?
yeah.
I think I think for what it's
lost.
trying to do, I think I'm gonna go right at 3 forks. I maybe two forks
Wow.
3 times. Maybe
I
that's the better score.
You know what? I'm gonna bump up my score just a bit to 2 1/4 forks for its proximity to Toonsy. It has very close to Dr. Toons's office. So I think that is a huge plus.
I think this last experience I have to go 2 forks 3 times. It's just
Yeah.
I can't give it 3. But I do have some affection for it. All right, it's time for a segment. This is the Michelin Men. This is from our associate producer Amelia.
Oh no.
Nick,
You know Amelia.
Amelia, we used to. Your audience knows Amelia.
Yeah,
yes,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Amelia interned for us at Absolutely Productions. She reminded me that she worked on one of my shows, Decker,
That's
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah.
and it was very nice to see her because when she was working for us, I just had my wife had my daughter. How do you say that right? Whose name was Amelia, and it was like, my daughter's Amelia, And so I got to show her a picture of Amelia, who's now 10.
It's very sweet.
And there she is producing this very popular podcast. So everything in the world is going great.
She's great. A huge weirdo Amelia is, and you'll see by whatever this game is that we're about to play.
Oh, a game.
this is the Michelin Men. Nick, Mitch, and Tim review 4 menu items from a Michelin star restaurant and have to determine if they'd rather eat at that Michelin restaurant for free or get a new set of Michelin brand tires for free.
That's cute.
So restaurant or tires. So I'll read the restaurant name and then I will and where it is and its star rating, and then I will give the menu and then we will each get our verdict.
Okay.
First up, Winteringham Fields. This is in Scunthorpe in the UK, and this is a 1-star Michelin restaurant. Pearl barley risotto, raw button mushroom black truffle, baba ganoush, which is burnt aubergine puree, lemon preserve, and crispy chickpea, beetroot tartare with whole grain mustard sorbet, and butternut squash agnolotti with tender stem broccoli, roast butternut squash, and almond. This seems like a veggie menu. This seems like this is all
the
vegetables.
whole menu?
This is the tasting menu that you would get
I see. Okay.
from this particular place.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think I would go Michelin tires.
I think I got to go tires here.
I'm going that restaurant because I'm such an Anglophile. I love the UK. I can picture myself in this cottage in the country, and it's all very fresh, and the people are super nice, and it feels like a lovely, lovely time.
Have you spent a lot of time in the UK?
I have spent a fair amount of time.
You're a big Beatles fan.
Big Beatles fan. Yeah, I was just touring over there in March, and I love it over there. I love it.
Where do you like to go? What are your favorite towns?
I don't know. London. Brighton. Yeah, I mean, they're all great. I mean, I get to go to Liverpool on this trip.
Oh, that's fun.
Spend a day there.
Did you see it? Have you seen like Apple Records and or
not Abbey Road.
Yeah,
I've been to Abbey Road. I've been inside the Abbey Road, which not a lot of people have.
Wow, that's cool.
And that was neat. Yeah, I don't know. I love the people. I love just their attitude. I don't know. Nothing really nothing like city specific necessarily. Just kind of.
I wonder if
there.
Headgum someday will be revered like Abbey Road, this building here.
This is where that Doughboys murder-suicide happened. All right, next up, Urasawa. This is right here in Beverly Hills, California. This is a 2-star sushi restaurant. Kosode Sushi. This is a Japanese barracuda seared and served with kanome leaf to flavor the rice instead of vinegar. Ikura Gunkan Sushi. This is salmon eggs wrapped in nori, marinated with soy, sweet sake, and bonito. Ama Ebi. This is live sweet prawns, sashimi, and nigiri.
Ugh.
And then an egg custard flavored with shrimp, mountain potato, sake, and sweet sake. Look, the live sweet prawns may give me pause, but I think overall I really like Japanese food and I really like sushi, and I have wanted to try this place.
This
I think
to me is
meal.
like a Michelin sushi chef is like the most trusted chef I can think of in my mind or something. But the live prawn,
it's probably not served live. But it might be like butchered in a way that's kind of like gnarly.
All food was live at some point.
Yeah.
That's also good point. I couldn't eat if it was live. I think that's what this hinges on for me. Because if it was alive in my mouth, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going tires. I'm not a big sushi fan. I enjoy it from time to time.
Sure.
But again, going to the low floor, high ceiling thing, like high end sushi doesn't do much for me.
Can I get like 3 tires and a piece of sushi? Can I do that or no?
I don't think that's an option. We can ask Amelia, but she's not here. I think
we'll have to.
You can also, I think you can actually do whatever you want in a hypothetical game like this.
But if you want a real answer, I think it was a free meal at the restaurant or tires. So I don't think you get a free meal and 3 tires.
No, that's true.
I just want a piece of sushi.
I'll call the restaurant and ask.
3 tires. I'll take 3 tires, which I actually just got.
Is there any
3
gold?
tires.
Any gold sprinkled over any of that food? I like when they sprinkle gold.
That is fun. I don't see any of that in the descriptions, but maybe we'll get there. Jimmy was right next to me. I thought I might have an opportunity to pet her, but then she moved away.
Yeah, you haven't been able to pet her yet today.
She seems a little
She's
skittish
like a
around
cat.
me.
It's going to take a while, but she'll get there.
Okay, we'll see. Next up is Galit in Chicago. This is a 1-star restaurant. Bubby's Brisket. This is smoky cinnamon, tomatoes, and braised carrots. Foie gras, toasty challah, rhubarb, vanilla, nasturtium, and tahini. Nasturtium, okay, and tahina. Lobster. This is butter poached and grilled. Lovage, salsify, chicories, and Aleppo. And then labne parfait, stone fruit, pistachio, olive oil. I'm sure I butchered a bunch of ingredients there. This sounds pretty good.
That does sound good.
I'm into that. I think I'll take the
that meal.
Yeah, I'll take that meal.
I already have the tires.
Yeah, that's true.
At this point, we have the tires.
We have
how many we're going to stockpile, really?
I'm not reselling the tires. I'm not gonna do that.
I got 3 tires the other day, $500.
Wow. Why did you only get 3?
I got 2 front ones.
Okay.
Cheaper than Black Angus.
Yeah, did you accidentally buy tires at Black Angus too? Might have been the issue. I got 2 new tires, and they're like, you're gonna have to get the back ones done soon, but we don't have any of the tires, so come back. Then I was driving on the freeway. You go up towards the zoo there, the Griffith Park Zoo. The exit on the 5 to go towards you basically go towards Glendale. I got a flat.
Truly doesn't matter where it happened. I don't think. I mean, does it?
Well, actually, it plays into it. Not really. But I went to this place with Derek Waters and Eric Edelstein, Fish King, that we talked to you about. It.
In Glendale?
And yeah.
Love Fish King.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I had never been there before, and it seems like such a...
See, I like things.
Yeah, I think that you have great taste in food. I meant that sincerely. I went on that little off-ramp there, and I pulled up the Fish King. I had one of the new tires is flat.
No.
The tow truck driver comes, and he tells me they changed 20. He says that whole section there always has little has stuff on. So careful when you're driving over on that little towards the Griffith Park Zoo towards towards Glendale from the
great
5.
precaution. Yeah.
But that tire was wasted, so I needed 3 new tires.
Wow.
It was just fucking dead.
Oh.
Yeah, but I had a great meal at Fish King. Anyways, what is the question?
We're eating at the place in Chicago.
I want that. Yes,
that
please.
Food. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, next up is a restaurant Gordon Ramsay. Speaking of celebrity chefs, this is in London. This is a 3-star restaurant. That's the most you can get in the Michelin scale. Scallops from the Isle of Skye, black fig, coconut, and oxalis. 100-day aged Cumbrian blue gray, panisse, Kosberg, and Pontac. Ratatouille, in quotes, romesco, courgette, Rove de Garrigues, and basil.
I think you're pronouncing all this correct.
Do you know how to say that? Rove de
No, I don't.
Garrigues? And
do
caramelized
all the
apple
ingredients
tart.
have a question mark after them?
Caramelized apple tart tatine, which is has Tahitian vanilla ice cream. I've never eaten at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. I think it would take this meal because I'm just like, I want to see what all the fuss is about. Yeah. I've heard he's a lovely boss. And people actually outside
It's all an act.
It's all an act, and people actually really like working for him, like his crew and then all of his restaurant workers.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. It's always the people that you're like, your outward persona, if it's going to be like, I'm a mean dick, I'm an asshole, I'm going to do it. Like, those are the people that you find usually turn out to be probably like in person super nice.
I always heard Don Rickles was like a lovely man.
Exactly.
And he was like, he'd always
but
roast
then
everybody.
the nice people, the James Cordens, the Ellens, these people, they're the secret monsters in the back of them.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say one thing about the Michelin thing, though?
My favorites, personally.
The Michelin thing, a couple years ago, I had the good fortune to do this movie in Tuscany, and they say that one of the things to get in Tuscany is they do a steak there. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh,
it's
yes,
a famous kind of
okay.
What's it?
Because there's in Florence they have a steak too.
Florentine, the steak Florentine.
Yeah.
So we were one night we would go out to dinner almost every night. This great group of people. Molly Shannon, Aubrey Plaza, Fred Armisen. It was the best group of people, like Allison Brie.
Wow.
And we all were just like we were just hanging, like stayed at the same hotel, would go out to dinner. It was like camp for adults. It was crazy. And really lovely people, and can't believe I did it. I got Zach Woods.
Wow.
Just great, funny people that were fun to hang out with. And we would just go and have these great meals, and there I could really say I had great meals. Like I appreciated the company, I appreciated the quality of the food. But one night we went to a Michelin restaurant, not because we planned to, it just happened to like that we were in this area and there was like, oh, this actually has a Michelin star. And I got the steak Florentine. I hadn't gotten it yet. And it was like Black Angus.
Oh man.
It wasn't that bad. It was a little like, oh. It was disappointing because you feel like you're supposed to get this.
Yeah, like another world. Yeah. That sucks.
Sorry. I don't know when I'm going to tell my Michelin stories ever again. So this felt like a good place to drop that in.
No, absolutely fitting. Next up. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had them. I don't know if I want to eat at a Michelin star. French Laundry is one, right?
It is, yeah. I mean, there are a bunch that are just like in LA. Like
I probably have.
I've definitely eaten at a Michelin star restaurant in LA. I'm trying to remember what they are. And there's like you go to like Chicago, and it's a lot of times like the big restaurant that people talk about. If you look it up, that has like 2 Michelin stars.
Okay.
So like
you've
probably eaten at some, even if you didn't know it. Next up is Lazy Bear in San Francisco.
Okay,
there's a 2-star restaurant. Dry aged beef tartare, broccoli, Brussels sprout, and allium pancake.
I'm already in.
Wait, start again. I'm sorry to do that to you.
No worries. Dry aged beef tartare, broccoli, Brussels sprout, not Brussels
And
sprout,
you're in
Brussels
at this
sprout,
point?
I'm in.
Allium
Okay.
pancake. I guess if anyone wants to say when they're in, feel free to do so. We can add that in. Seafood tower. This is Foxley oyster, bay
in.
scallop, Dungeness crab dip.
Tower.
Pork chop with quince apple and pink peppercorn.
We're doing all right.
I'm out. I don't eat pork. And finally, honey cake, yeasted cream, chamomile, creme anglaise. I'll take the tires. It sounds like you guys are good with the
But
menu.
couldn't you eat other stuff besides the pork? You
I
got
think
plenty.
the exercise is you got to take all 4 items or all 4 tires.
I didn't
That's the
know
way
that.
I interpreted it.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't
I
fucking
didn't
know.
know that either.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't eat pork at all, ever?
I've stopped eating
Okay,
pork.
okay.
Yeah. I used to.
No bacon.
No, I honestly don't miss bacon. What I miss is an Italian sub. That's the one thing where I was like, I can't really get a recreation of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
It sucks. All right, final.
Can you do it with like turkey or something? You know what I mean? Like,
You can't get all those
I was
fucking.
I was trying to brainstorm.
No, I
don't know.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's just tough to approximate. Finally, the Clove Club. This is also in London, 2 stars. Smoked Wiltshire trout, almond milk and watercress, Petrosian ossetia, caviar, veal sweetbread baked in hay. Wow. Bay leaf brown butter, sorrel, and applesauce. I'm in at this point because that's intriguing. Hazelwood grilled pollock,
Really
superior
taste the
sauce. And white asparagus. That sounds good too.
This is
And
a
grilled
situation where I would
habanero
like to be a
granita,
goat in this scenario.
plum sorbet, and sheep's milk yogurt.
Yeah, I'm
now you don't want to be a goat. Now you don't want to be a goat because they got sheep's milk yogurt.
That's
Oh,
a good.
yeah.
Yeah, am I eating here? Am I delivering the food? I'm in all four meals. I'm in.
Yeah, this sounds fun. I'm into that. And that's it. That was the Michelin Man. Just like a restaurant about your feedback, let's open up the feedback. And we actually, Mitch, have a piece of physical mail that came into the Headgum studio. I thought we could open that
to
real
say
quick.
one thing. I am a Just Tires guy. I have a deal with them, so I'm a little uncomfortable talking about
Sure.
Michelin. They do offer Michelin tires.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get that.
only Michelin. A lot of great brands out there.
All right, this,
Pinkies. I go to Pinkies on Melrose. A great
Oh,
spot.
Sure.
this got shipped to us from Alma. I won't dox the last name, in Madison, Wisconsin. So we're going to open this in a second, but I'm going to read the question that we got into the email first, and then we'll unbox this.
Do you feel bad when we have a good guest and we do like one of those games? Don't you feel bad about
No,
the show?
That's what the
I
show
do
is.
games on office hours all the time.
Yeah,
That's what the show is.
I know. I just feel bad.
I did this game with Mark Proch on the show on office hours that we recorded today, and I love fucking with Mark Proch more than anything. I mean, that's our love language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
like he loves the abuse. That's how we joke around.
Yeah.
Is me kind of giving him shit. We're out of nowhere for no reason. So the game I came up with was Mark Proch True or False. And it's the dumbest, simplest like comedy game where I just wrote a bunch of lies. Like Mark masturbated this morning. True. Mark, I said, my favorite dumb one was Mark's favorite actor is Howard Stern. True. And he's sitting there like, no, it's not. I don't know what you're talking about. It was so much fun. So silly.
Good bit. All right, this is an email from Thibaut. Thibaut writes, huge fan of the podcast, listening all the way from Paris, France.
Wow.
I'm planning a trip to London in a few days and must admit one of the big
shit.
reasons for going there is to go to Taco Bell and have a Crunchwrap Supreme, a huge favorite of mine when I studied in California.
We mentioned
Not
two.
a big deal for somebody in Paris to go to London either, by the way. It's like going from us going to San Francisco or something.
Yeah, you can take the train pretty easy, right?
You
Right up
take
that
the
way.
tunnel, right?
Tunnel.
I'm
Yeah,
intrigued by the
tunnel.
tunnel. Love to ride that
Yeah,
tunnel.
you've never been over.
No, I've never crossed an ocean.
You've never crossed an ocean.
No. What would be a fast food item that you would travel a long way for if it wasn't available near you? And have you ever shamefully done it? Thanks for everything. Would love to see you do a show in London, but I know Wags will never make it. Tebow. I know it's hard to pronounce like Tebow. How about that? Okay, so I think, Mitch, this qualifies as something we've done for the podcast, which is
Jimmy shook.
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Yeah, Waffle House, which there aren't any around here. And we did travel, we traveled for a show, but I would like go out of my way for a Waffle House if I was in another territory because I had a great time at Waffle House.
It's that funny thing with like, anytime I go down to San Diego, I go to Juanita's in Encinitas, and that's a little out of the way. But like, is this like, hey, I want to go to Waffle House on like a Saturday or Sunday, Wags? Is that what you're saying?
No. Why did you get that from? Why would I
I'm saying,
specify
like,
a day?
in LA? Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to this I guess I'm trying to figure out how far of a ride you're taking.
Oh, you're saying a day trip.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
as
like,
far as day
look,
trips go
like
for the
Pie
podcast-
I go to Pie and Burger and
Yeah, that's a little bit of a haul.
That's
Pasadena.
in
Well, that's
Pasadena.
down the street from me.
Yeah.
Not to dox myself, but that's not too far. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm close to Pasadena.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to Pasadena too.
I'm not too far to. I'm not so.
I
far
would say
from-
to go to the Apple Pan is more of a big deal for me.
Yeah.
That's a stone's throw from me.
That's a haul.
Yeah.
Like that's a commitment to go to what is that, Culver City or something like that?
It's a West LA, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
That's what I was asking. Is like, how far are we talking here? Because in LA, it's like an hour drive. I feel like is
Timmy's
it,
looking
right?
at me.
Yeah, she really is.
I would say
Different
one
things,
that I like to go
Oh, wow,
that
it's
would
gonna
be a
happen.
bit of a trip is like Neptune's Net.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
that involves like going to the beach. Like if I'm gonna
Yeah.
let's go to the beach. All right, let's go to Neptune's Net and have like some fun fried fish, which I can get at Fish King down the
Yeah.
street.
That's
But,
that's in
in
my
Malibu,
mind is like
right?
an hour drive is like this is what we're saying is like what fast food place it's like
but Waffle
hour
House
or
is
nine
like
to-
that's a flight.
That's a flight. We can't go to if you're saying it's a day trip, which the question does not specify. But if we're changing it to a day trip, then yes, I could not make it to. Jimmy's fucking looking at me. And
Jamie's looking at you like you're a
If you
ghost.
move
Honestly,
that box and pat the couch, she might get up there and sit with you.
I don't think she's gonna.
Oh, she
do it.
laid down, never
She
mind.
lied down. She's not interested. If you're saying it's a day trip, then like
I don't know. I mean, we went to Steak and Shake. As
we
a
went to
day
Steak
trip.
and Shake in Victorville. That was a big trip.
That's a big trip.
yeah.
I think some
guess
friends were
Flew
like,
to
"Hey,
Vegas
let's."
for Chili's too.
we did go to
we flew
Vegas for Chili's too.
What's Chili's too?
It's
It's
the airport
airport
Chili's
Chili's.
is Chili's, comma 2.
Right,
Yeah.
With Eva Anderson, we didn't leave the airport. We didn't go
Right.
into Vegas. We just it was horrible.
You think Eve Anderson's related to Stuart Anderson? Make that connection.
We should ask her.
I think that it's a fuck in terms of then what I can think of it in terms of places I've gone on my own is like the Gulf Stream in Newport Beach. That's a fucking ways away. But we've gone down there just to eat there, and that's in the Hillstone family of restaurants. That's their seafood concept. There used to be one in Century City, but now the Newport Beach one is the closest. But
I think Waffle House like an hour. If Waffle House like an hour or hour and a half away, I think I would maybe if I was down to go with some friends. I think that's like Waffle House.
you're just changing the question.
Cracker
now the
Barrel?
question has been
Cracker Barrel.
we have
Cracker,
done.
we drove for Cracker
We did do
Barrel.
about a 2-hour drive for Cracker Barrel, yeah, and that was a lot of fun. But the question isn't what's the furthest you would go for a food. Like hypothetically, it's what's the item you would travel for.
Oh, right. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to do like Mr. Anderson, like with the Black Angus. I don't know what it would be,
Oh, that's fun.
but like, yeah, I like your steak.
There's a steak
Mr.
connection
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch, it's a great like starting point for
That's
something.
a hard question to answer though, because
The Mr. Anderson one? or-
everything that you'd want is available at some. Like I'm trying to think of something that's not that available.
Right, it used to
Yeah.
be well, even a chain like Dunkin' Donuts that has gone national now used to be a regional thing.
So if a cheesy gordita crunch was only an hour away, I would drive for it. That to me is cheesy gordita crunch, spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's. I would drive if they didn't exist in my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
There would be times where I'm like, I need to go get a cheesy gordita crunch, and I'd drive an hour.
I probably feel that way about In-N-Out Burger.
I guess
if
the
there wasn't
answer
one
is
nearby.
everything. The answer is probably everything.
Sure, everything.
Everything is the answer.
Well, food is sometimes a great reason to travel. so-
Yeah.
A good point.
Yeah.
Here's what we got in the mail. Hi, Doughboys. I was born in Yugoslavia, and now I visit Sarajevo annually, where the local food, like cevapi, would knock your socks off. I found these minion-themed chocolate croissants at a gas
Wow.
station. Copyright is meaningless in the Balkans, but these seem legitimate. They also contain pogs, I think. Wow, that's fun. I hope you enjoy them, and sorry if they're a little smashed. Respectfully, Alma in the Midwest currently. Should
we eat them?
There's a private message in the back. That's very nice, Alma. Sure, if we want. I mean, no pressure. These
Yeah.
are the,
Oh, they look like. I thought they were hot dogs.
they're chippy cow. They do look like hot dogs, but they're croissants with cocoa filling.
Yummy.
And there's a little minion on there. And from his we got different minions on each one. We got Stuart on that one, and then we hear from the different colored eyes. What do you call that? Heterochroma.
I don't know the
Yep.
names of the minions at all. And
Well, no,
they're,
this is-
they're,
I
they're
think one
playing
is-
in my house almost constantly.
I
This
think
is
one is
Bob.
named Heterochroma.
This is Bob. But he's got the
Bob.
two different
I know
colored
Bob.
eyes.
Heterochromia, you're right.
Heterochromia. I mispronounced it. So here you go. I'll just pass these over. There's just two of them, but y'all can feel free to dig in.
Oh, thank you.
I want to find out who thought I was a vegan.
I will find that out.
Thank
I
you,
will tell
Alma.
It
you.
really looks. Look at that. That looks like a hot dog.
It really looks like a hot dog. It looks a lot like a hot dog.
Are they two different varietals, or they just have different minions? I think they're the same thing, right?
I'm gonna say this. Oh no, they're the same thing. Yeah.
This came all the way from where? Sarajevo?
Sarajevo,
Chibi
yes.
cow.
How do you like that?
I mean, you don't
It's
have
a
to try
small
this.
Yeah, you don't have to have
after
it.
all.
I'll take a bite. Weiger looks like he's not going to try it.
No, I'm 100% going to try it. I was
wanna
just thinking
try
you
it.
and I could share.
If Agent Smith took Neo to Black Angus, I mean, wait, fuck.
What?
Try again.
If Agent Smith took Joey Pants
Yes.
to Black Angus, the Matrix would never happen because that
Because
steak,
that steak, he
it
wouldn't
would have been
yeah,
worth it.
Half
Oh,
of that?
thanks, buddy.
It does not look good. It does not look like a good croissant.
It's a little smushed. It definitely seems like it's...
I'm still trying to work
Travel.
on my Matrix thing over here. I think that.
Oh, I know what this is. This is a hot dog bun with chocolate in it.
Ooh, there's a pog. There is a pog in here.
Yeah, there are pogs in here. This one's got... Oh, my God. Could not be more up my alley. We got minions playing basketball. They're
This
doing
is a hot
Papa
dog
Shot.
bun.
How fun is that?
That bun is when you just get the bun. Let me tell you,
Fun is iffy.
if Agent Smith gave me this and tried to have me turn my back on Neo, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think I need to finish this.
I'm going to finish mine, but I don't know if I love it. I think the chocolate's pretty good.
Should I just put it in my mouth?
You can put it on the
Throw it
table.
away-
I'll
should I
take
throw it
I'll
away in
clean
my
up.
mouth?
You can toss it in the... Yeah.
In the bag?
I'll say this: the chocolate's gooier than I thought.
Yeah,
Got a
it's-
weird aftertaste. Everything about it is not sitting well.
Well, it's.
I'm not sure I feel about this.
Well, there's a Tim died for a moment. Here's the thing is that it tastes like bread that could last forever. Which
Yeah.
is that to me is that's not fun.
But it weirdly tastes like better than like a Hostess snack.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
Like a higher quality.
Maybe better than a Bimby snack? Or
Sure.
Bimbo?
Bimbo.
Bimbo, right?
I haven't
Bimby
had-
is the waitress.
Bimby's the waitress. Bimbo's the hostess knockoff.
Here's the issue: is that this is a croissant and it's like not flaky at all. It is just a hot dog bun
Yeah.
texture, like you said. So it is. It's why? Because I think it's.
I don't
fun.
like the taste of the chocolate. I think that's the taste. The chocolate's off. It's like kind of fruity or something.
I know. Emma's staring
like-
us down too because it's a bun that's filled with chocolate.
Yeah,
it's like a
our
dog
first time with a
nightmare.
dog in the studio and we're tasting chocolate.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, love.
I think I got to go whack on this one. I do appreciate it, Alma. That's very, very nice of you to ship this all the way
yeah,
over.
Alma. What a sweet gesture.
Doesn't seem. I have a feeling Alma's not precious about it.
Right.
Probably just bought this at the store because it had a minion on
Could you
it.
imagine
Travel-
if she was like genuinely upset and sad that you didn't like it? Just crying.
She traveled there to get these for us.
Yeah.
I think that's a whack for me too.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunately a whack.
But you know what? I'll say this. I'll say that the chocolate. Oh shit! Sorry, I almost got on you. The chocolate.
You just got on me.
God, what?
It's like Spindrift, which is not going to make a difference.
Oh, okay.
The actual chocolate was like it was too gushy for me, but the actual taste of the chocolate, you could tell that it was like a better chocolate than we get here.
I don't feel that way, but
No.
that's okay. But that's okay. It's Trump. He always says, but that's okay.
It is a whack.
Yeah, it's whack.
If I had to
Whack's all
say
around.
snack
What's
or
the
whack.
other? What's the option?
Snack or whack.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
whack.
whack. If you have a question or comment about the world of chain restaurants, you can email us at doughboyspodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 830-GO-DOUGH. That's 830-463-6844.
You think my Mr. Anderson? Yeah, I think I got that across at some point.
I didn't
It'd
get
be-
the reference.
It'd be nice if you'd figured out how to land it
Matrix.
before.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen The Matrix maybe since it came out. So
Man, it's fucking great.
I bet.
It really holds up.
That's
Did you
good.
see the new one? Did you see part 4?
No.
Oh, man, I loved it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll like it, but it's fun.
You might not like it. I
How
loved
would
it.
you?
What's that?
How would you know I would like it?
I don't know.
What if you're like, I know you're gonna like it?
I want to say this. It was the 10-year anniversary of the Birthday Boys yesterday. The 10 years since it produced.
Yes.
And our guest was one of the producers of the show. He made that a possibility for
Very
my
cool.
sketch group.
Great sketch show.
And is also
Great
one of the
show.
funniest people in the world. And we're so it was an honor having you on the podcast.
Very
so
much
nice. to
Sorry,
be
I was
here.
nervous.
No, I
No,
mean,
you did great.
This was what a way to spend a couple hours. So easy and fun, and
Thanks for making time for us.
Yeah.
It's weird that we hate it so much.
To get the Doughboys Double or Weekly bonus episode, you can join the Golden or Platinum Plate Club at patreon.com/Doughboys. Tim Heidecker, thanks so much for being here.
Thank
A
you,
real
guys.
treat. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Truly.
Just where your office hours is going strong.
Oh, man.
Mitch just did it, and we had Larry Charles and all sorts of fun people on. That's on Patreon. Patreon is the new Adult Swim.
Oh, 100, yeah.
It's where the independent people are doing good stuff. The money goes right to making stuff. So we're at patreon.com/officeHoursLive.
And you can watch the show on YouTube, too.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
First, the free half is on YouTube. We do similar things. I believe in paywalls.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like, that's, pay for the good stuff. This is a little tangent. Can I give a little tangent?
Of course.
I think this is kind of an observation. I post dumb stuff on Instagram. Whatever. Sometimes it's promotional. It's like, here, I'm doing this thing. Come see it. Like, I'm not an Instagram content creator, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not. But sometimes I'll do something dumb. I posted something, kind of political. But this guy Tim Pool is this right wing.
Oh, I know that guy.
yeah.
He said something stupid. I kind of clipped it out, put it up. Whatever. It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's not something I take. Somebody wrote, "Is this what your Insta has turned into?" Something to the effect of like, I'm letting him down with the content on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting on a toilet taking a shit, and this is what I do to pass the time.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of this.
Yeah.
But I care about the stuff. If I'm charging you money or I'm asking for money, it's the stuff we generally care about. On Cinema is also behind the paywall at HeiNetwork.tv, HEI network. And, it's amazing. People pay for it, and we make stuff, and you can see it. It's very simple. There's no garbage
Oh,
involved.
man, it's the funniest stuff. I also, Larry Charles, and following me, and then Larry Charles is like
I know.
Shaq, and
No,
then
no,
before
no.
it is
You
like
guys-
Urkel to Shaq.
Larry Charles is a sweetheart, and he was lovely, and he's so interesting to talk to and so smart.
I did the podcast James Bonding Live, and there was me and another guest, and I didn't know who the other guest was, and it was Larry Miller. It was like
wow.
this, but that was the same sort of feeling of like Larry Miller and Nick Weiger.
Yeah.
Hi.
And he's a nice guy, too. We
He
had
was
him on an
lovely.
awesome show.
Lovely
He's
man.
really funny and nice.
Very funny.
And happy, humble guy.
Yeah.
Well, we're having Tim Pool on Doughboys next, so.
Yeah, Tim Month, Tim Timber.
Tim Timber.
Hey, that'll do it for this episode of Doughboys. Until next time, for the Spoon Man, Mike Mitchell, I'm Nick Weiger. Happy eating.
See ya.
Hey, buddy, it's Weiger. Breaking Choose. Get Played, the video game podcast I co-host with Heather Ann Campbell and Matt Apodaca, is now right here on Headgum. Listen to Heather, Matt, and me, Weigs, talk about good games, bad games, and every game in between every Monday. Get Played on Headgum. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Wow. Sources for the intro are in the episode description.
That was a Headgum podcast.